Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to It's Erik Nagel. That sounds like a great name for a reality show, doesn't it?
It's Erik Nagel?
Yes.
Is it going to involve you in that bathrobe?
It might.
This is a reality show, is it?
No, this is a radio show.
Oh, crap.
Reality show isn't real.
Oh, I shouldn't have dressed up then.
And is on television.
Well, that is so deep.
Yes.
A couple weeks back when you were going through that sugar withdrawal, it was kind of like a reality show. There were a lot of emotions flying.
There were many, I'm not even saying feels because that's just dumb. Yeah, there was a lot going on during that. But I've come a long way and everything's been good.
And you look great.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Phone number to call the show if you want to be a part of it, 866-969-1969. Lots going on here today. We're going to talk Comic-Con. We have interviews. I'll go around the room here quick, and I also have an announcement I want to make right after this. So going around the room, usually that's where Matt sits, but instead today is Big Kev.
What the hell? Does it matter where I sit?
Well, when you go around the room, you throw off the flow, the feng shui of everything that's there.
If I move, will it make your show better?
No, not at all. It means
no,
nothing.
it won't.
No.
Exactly.
It just means I get to introduce you first.
Thank you. I appreciate you asking me to be here, and I'm very happy to be a part of the program this evening.
Give out your social media and your plug for your podcast and everything.
Yes, let me do that. OG?
At BK Geek Stuff on Twitter and at Big Kev GS on Instagram, but don't expect much on either account.
Okay. He's a busy man and doesn't have time to deal with social media.
I got people.
All right.
I got people handle that.
Big Kev, for those longtime fans, know that Big Kev's Geek Stuff used to be a Saturday night show here when it was High Voltage, then The Virus, then the Opie and Anthony channel.
And even before that, when it wasn't even Sirius XM, when it was just XM, it was over there too. So, yeah.
Which would be High Voltage and The Virus.
Before
that's before. In the long ago. I know it's very foggy
in the before
and
time.
In the before
long
time,
ago.
right? So he used to be on here, but he has the podcast that he does with Matt OG. Still, it's available on iTunes. You should definitely check that out.
Yes.
And speaking of Matt OG, he's right there. You made it in.
The gods smiled favorably upon me. I caught an early train. I knocked over a couple of shorter people and elderly people hustling here, and I did make it on time as opposed to late.
Is it some kind of holiday? That's why you made it in on time?
Actually, the city is like mobbed tonight. Like there's construction going on everywhere, and there are all sorts of like roadblocks up for stuff. I don't know what the hell's going on. But
it's just normal.
No, more than usual. But yes, mostly normal.
Got it.
Okay.
Slightly elevated than normal.
Geek Stuff OG on the Twitter and Instagram.
Indeed.
Follow him along with that. Giddles is not here this week, so we move over to Lisa Correo. Hello, Lisa. How are you?
I'm great, and I'm only staying for a few minutes, but I wanted to come in and say hey.
Why? Where are you going?
I got to go do a show.
All right, you know what? She came in to do another radio show here, and then she doesn't have time to do our show.
Oh, no, I always have time.
What show were you just on?
I just did John Fugelsang and...
On Insight.
And Frank Conniff's show. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're good guys.
Good guys.
They have a lot of comedians on.
For sure, sure. We talked about cats for an hour.
That sounds riveting.
It was pretty good. Because I did a cat show the other night.
Were you talking about like the Betty Buckley version, or was it like one of the later versions that came after, or?
Yeah, I did stand-up comedy at one of those cat parlors the other night.
Oh.
So that's what we were talking about.
Quote unquote bunny ranch.
Yeah, exactly.
If the people don't laugh, they off the
Lamar
cats.
there.
So I did that,
soon?
and yeah, I'm gonna run off, and I won't be here next week either because I'm doing a con next week.
Yeah, guess where con she's going to?
What? I know.
Part 2 of the Florida SuperCon that we did earlier in the summer.
Yes.
Wow.
So they're doubling down for the year.
Yeah, they do.
That's risky, isn't it?
No,
a lot of shows do
the smaller
that.
ones are nice because you just kind of it's less hectic.
Yeah, totally agree with that.
Okay, but do you get the same amount of attractions? I'll say people coming,
I get
people
more.
going down there that you want to get autographs and photos with.
For what I'm there for, I get more fans
The cat
at
house
the
stuff.
smaller ones.
Right.
So for me, it's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to be down there. Do you have a booth number or anything?
I don't
People
know
can
what
come
my
see
booth
you?
number. I probably have a number, but it's small enough you'll be able to find me.
One day you're going to have a nice mix of Nickelodeon fans and fans from this show.
There's going to
and
be.
you're not going to know how to handle either conversation.
There's gonna. It's the
Yeah, that
same
would be
fans.
weird.
It's a weird crossover. But no, I'm going to be doing stand-up comedy shows, and I have a booth. There's going to be Nickelodeon panels. There's other panels that I'm moderating. So there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. It's going to be really fun. That's Animate Miami, and also one of my guys in my comedy show won Jeopardy last night. So he's going to be on tonight. Josh Silverman.
Really?
Yes. Josh Silverman. Dude, he is so funny. He's such a funny comic, but he's also a great trivia nerd.
Was he just a contestant, or was it like Comic Week or
No, he was just a regular contestant. And he's also a teacher. He's a teacher, a funny comedian, and a Jeopardy champion.
How much did he win?
Over $21,000.
Nice.
Wow. So that means he makes 11, maybe
exactly,
under that
after
with
taxes. Right. So he's got another chance tonight to win more money. So
one day we'll have to explore the game show phenomenon where people don't realize just because you got the Showcase Showdown on The Price is Right and you want an RV, a hot tub, some washer and dryer set, and you're going to Acapulco.
That's what I was going to say.
Taxes are huge.
Yeah, like, oh my God, I want all this shit. Yes, your whole package comes to $137,000. You need to pay the tax
Pay the
right
taxes
now.
on it. Yeah, and my aunt won $100,000 once from a radio station, and they took 40%.
That seems about right.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's right, but it seems about what they take.
Yeah, it's definitely wrong to do that. If you win something, you should just get to keep it. That's not your regular
I said the same thing when I won $100,000, and the government, yes, did have to take a nice sizable chunk out of that.
Yeah,
all right,
that's wrong.
That's how I bond and relate to the story.
Taxes.
Bastards.
Just complain about taxes the whole time.
That's everything for you. Your plugs and we're all good.
That's my plugs for now. Just all same stuff.
If you want to follow the show, it's Erik Nagel on Twitter and of course the YouTube channel where we put all our interviews and everything up there. I'm going to post a photo in a few minutes. We have a lot to give away here for the Comic-Con show. We've got a bunch of copies of Age of Ultron, some signed copies from the Impractical Jokers.
Oh, nice.
For season 3. They were nice enough to sign that. We got copies of Tremors 5 and Furious 7 and a whole bunch of other stuff. There's something from your friend Lewis. Where are the Oh, there they are. Thank you.
That's good.
Your friend from Suburban Vinyl.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Right. He gave us these inner child figures.
Oh, my God. The
wow.
Nervous Wreck piece. I am in love with that piece.
Yeah, that's a great
That's
piece.
the green colorway, probably, and the red version, right?
No, I think they're
greens.
2 green.
Oh, 2 green. Green was the
Suburban
Suburban Vinyl
Is the artwork
exclusive.
the same on both boxes?
It
Yeah,
should be.
yeah.
The piece is the same.
The piece is the same, yeah.
Okay.
It's just that particular colorway,
Okay, yeah. So I have 2 of those, and I have, of course, Superstars, the Phantom.
Nice.
From them to give away as well.
Lots of stuff. Lots
Radio
of
magic,
stuff.
Kevin. So yeah, we have a lot of stuff to give away here. So we're going to do that. Call in. We'll talk about whatever. Everybody probably will get something tonight.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
It ain't going to happen. You know that, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Before we go into New York Comic Con, some other stories I want to talk about, and the fact that the police got called on Matt and his bearded villain posse.
Not me.
About what happened with that. I had an announcement that I wanted to make. I was
Sure.
tweeting that out since yesterday. So here's what we're going to do. Since a lot of people have asked, with everything that's happened with the channel, whatever, and I'm not as much on Opie and Jimmy as I used to be, but I'm working more behind the scenes. It's because I'm now running the channel and doing everything that involves all the other programs on the channel, not just Opie and Jimmy stuff, but including Opie and Jimmy stuff, our show, etc. So what I'm looking to do is this. We have some slots that we reserve for friends of the show, which includes Bob Kelly, Jim Florentine, Tom Papa, Rich Voss and Bonnie McFarlane used to be on that until they got their weekly show, so we took them out there. There's a bunch of slots open, some rotations and things like that. So what I'm looking to do is this. I'm going to solicit on the air right now. You can mail your package here. You can email erockcomment@gmail.com. Send me an MP3 and a little bio of your stuff. I'm looking to bring some new programs onto the channel.
I know a program.
Wait a second. By package, do you mean you want dick
If you used to
pics?
work on the channel, it doesn't count.
Oh.
I'm putting that disclaimer out there.
Okay.
It's not just you. So what?
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
I was with you, Lisa. I was with
Okay.
you.
I missed it. I apologize.
No, it's not worth it.
So, and this is what I'm looking for. We've always featured a lot of comedians on
Sure.
this channel. What I'm looking to do is go in the other direction a little bit. Not that we wouldn't entertain some of the comic stuff, but if, say there's a lot of, the climate with radio right now, as far as terrestrial radio goes, not really ideal for the talk radio format. So there's a lot of shows, a lot of good shows that are out there that didn't really get the chance or were cut due to budget cuts, the climate, etc., stuff that wasn't their fault or their doing. I'd like to solicit to some of these people that did radio Send me your show.
I know a show.
Send me your stuff. Again, if you were on the channel before, it doesn't count.
Oh.
So,
Sorry, I forgot that.
if you used to do radio, whether you were just, a single talk host or if you had an ensemble, whatever, send your stuff in. We'll review it. And each week that goes on, we'll go through what we've received. We'll whittle it down. And then we'll do a big presentation on Opie and Jimmy where we'll lay out a couple of shows and we'll pick out who's actually going to get a chance to join the channel here.
It's very ambitious of you.
Right?
Sure.
I think that's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
So with some radio guys, and here's the thing with podcasts, not that podcasts are bad. They're not, but there's so many of them and a lot aren't good. And it's not for a lack of trying. It's just sometimes the people doing the show don't click. The topics don't click. I understand equipment can't all be like satellite radio.
90-second delay via Skype.
Right. So I'll accept those too. We'll sort through, but you gotta, sell your goods here a little bit. Don't just send me download my podcast off this iTunes link and tell me what you think. I'm not doing that.
I know a podcast.
Send me a best of segment of your stuff. Send me a little bio about what you're doing. erockcomment@gmail.com, or you can mail it here to SiriusXM. Attention, Erik Nagel, 1221 Avenue of the Americas, New York, New York, 10021. Right?
Don't ask
I
me.
hope that's the right one. Lewis,
You can Google
find that
it.
10020 10221. It's one of those. So figure that out.
Send it to both.
Send it to both.
It's
One of
binary
them will
code.
make it.
Right.
One of them won't.
Erik Nagel,
Lots of
care of
ones and zeros.
SiriusXM, 36th floor. The address I just gave you. You can find it. Google
You can
it,
find it.
whatever.
Google Maps.
It is
I'll put information out
Googleable.
online in there. But if you had a show at one point, I'd love to hear what you did. If you're doing a podcast right now, it's interesting, a different take, and it doesn't have to be what this channel is. We're always looking for new things outside of the box, as the term goes. So if you're doing something unique and maybe not really ever done on radio or heard of, send it in. You could get a shot.
What about
Nice.
magic?
Is Roland
You have a
also
magic
excluded from
radio show?
No, Roland has a show that just aired about an hour ago.
Oh, I know. We were discussing it before you got here. Whose brilliant idea was that?
What, Roland's show?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's great.
It is.
No, it is
Roland's show is amazing.
amazing.
It is.
It is a miracle.
It's-
It is a miracle.
Why is it a miracle?
Just because. No reason. Just
Okay, look, Roland had a fantastic show. Look, it took a long time for him to even want to bring the food court back. And now that he has, he's got a lot of big chefs and everything lined up.
That's great.
I saw
I'm
the
jealous
next
that he
few
had
weeks.
Robert Irvine tonight.
That's
Did.
great.
And the food was amazing tonight. I know Lisa
Yeah,
had
it's
a big
delicious.
plate of that with the brisket and some of the ribs. This
So good.
what's his name? Daniel Delaney?
Delaney, yeah.
Delaney, right?
Yeah.
Does this barbecue stuff where it's no sauce.
Yeah.
It's just rubs and a certain way of brining and cooking
Yeah.
everything like that. Just showed me that, wow, all this time you're putting barbecue sauce on something, you really don't need
Oh,
it.
no. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you flavor the meat properly.
Right. So, amazing show. It was on at 5 o'clock. It'll be on SiriusXM on demand a little later this weekend.
I'm very happy for him. I think that's great that he has the show.
It is. I don't know what's going on here,
I don't
but
know what's
yes,
going on.
check out Roland's show and Roland's Food Court on YouTube, on Instagram, and Rolandos99 on Twitter to check out everything for that. So that being said, we'll see how it goes over the next several weeks. Send us your stuff, and we'll see what we can get out of this.
Nice.
Okay?
So
Huzzah.
anyone out there can pitch you a show.
Yeah, I'm looking for guys who used to do radio.
Or
and then
girls, right? Or women? Guys?
Yes. The royal guys, then I'll say. Yes, guys or girls, pitch your show, send us your stuff.
All right.
We'll go through it. We'll review as each week goes on. We'll whittle everything down and make a big presentation and then see who gets some of these slots that we're going to make available.
Wow.
Okay?
Fun
How
times.
exciting.
All right. I see the phones light up. They want to talk about Comic-Con, which is always a good thing. So let's go to some of those things, and then we'll start telling our stories about being at New York Comic-Con. Kevin and Matt had a booth.
Sure.
Which was,
Yeah.
I'll say, hoppin'.
Hoppin'.
There was a lot of people coming by there. You were doing raffles and all kinds of things, and a lot of interest in what you guys were doing. So let's go through some of these calls here. Let's go to Karen in South Carolina. Karen, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Well, I just wanted to know what your opinion about the new Doctor Who season is, because it's just not living up to my expectations. We just talked about this on Facebook, and you got me started on this, and now I'm obsessed.
Okay, the current season of Doctor Who, I think the stories are great.
I like it.
The one under the lake with the ghost, the big two-parter. There's two two-parters, and they're only 5 episodes in.
Right.
So that's really awesome. I think the recent 2-parter with the being under the lake and the ghost was an amazing story, and that is a classic Doctor Who storyline that they have not done in a long time. A lot of that frightening shit that's going on where nothing really was getting explained right away. I think they rushed the ending a little bit, but other than that, I think it was well done. I think this season it's going in a way different direction. I think a lot of people are still hung up on David Tennant and Matt Smith as far as their adventures go.
That's where I'm at.
Right, but they're trying to show you got to relearn Doctor Who with this new Doctor. I think they're trying to show you what Peter Capaldi can do, and the fact, and nothing against Jenna Louise Coleman, but
she got to go.
Yes, the fact that Clara is going, I think will make things much better to accept this new Doctor, even though we're in his second season for his run here. I think once she's gone, because there's really no point to her being there. Like, she served a purpose during Matt Smith's tenure. Now there's not really a purpose for her. Now she's just a regular person instead of being an entity through space and time.
It's even though the Doctor is the main character, it really the show is really about his relationship with his companion and the other people that he interacts with, and the chemistry between Jenna Coleman and Peter Capaldi just is not there. I think his performance has been outstanding. I think he needs to get rid of the sonic sunglasses or whatever the fuck those are. That's ridiculous. But Jenna Louise Coleman needs to go. He needs to get a new companion that suits his attitude and where the show is going better than where she is.
I think that's where I'm hung up. But it's been fun. My 10-year-old is obsessed.
Is upset?
Obsessed.
Obsessed. Okay.
Obsessed. That's all right thing.
She's going to be a TARDIS for Halloween.
Are you making the costume, or did you buy him?
Of course I'm making the costume.
Oh, that poor girl. Make sure you take photos so that she can look back at that and resent you for years to come.
Hey, it was her idea. She came up with it. She's a petite little gymnast, and she said, I want to be the TARDIS because I'm bigger on the inside.
Aww.
I went, aww.
She should have done the embodiment of the TARDIS from that episode with, was that a Tennant episode? Where the TARDIS actually comes to life?
Oh, yeah, in the junkyard.
In the junkyard.
Yeah, that's a Tennant episode.
Well, no, I tried to convince her that she should have been a Weeping Angel, but she wouldn't go for it.
Oh, that'd have been a good one, too. Damn angels scared the hell out of me.
Karen, I'm going to put you on hold, and I'm going to give you a copy of, would you like Tremors 5, or would you like the Avengers Age of Ultron?
Avengers.
Okay, I'm going to put you on hold there, and Lewis will get your information. Lewis, also make sure that you mark down what we're giving, because I can't keep track of that while we're doing this. So I'm guessing, is he there?
He's listening. He's making notes.
Okay.
He made a gesture as though he heard you.
I think that was a middle finger, but that's okay. Probably.
That's a good mom. She's helping her make the costume. I always had homemade costumes. I always thought they were better than store-bought.
You're lucky, because the only photo I have of me as a kid is wearing a really shitty GoBot costume that came in a box and had the mask with the rubber band, and the rest just was pretty much a cheap tablecloth that was painted like that. The GoBot that turned into a motorcycle. I forgot his name.
Oh, God, he was the bad guy. I don't remember his name either. Cyclone?
Yeah, something like that.
Cyclone.
Something like that, yeah.
I did a homemade Freddy Krueger one Halloween and went to school that way, which I think is hilarious that my parents let me go to school as a burnt pedophile. No, it was okay back then.
Back then, it was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, parents quickly forgot after the first movie that this was a burnt pedophile that was coming to kill children, and they're like, oh, it's just a horror movie, it's good fun.
Yeah,
it's like they broke into his house and burnt him alive.
Yeah,
everybody wins in the
end.
In
his Christmas sweater.
Well, let's go to Bob in Indiana. Bob, how are you, sir?
All righty, Rock, what's happening, sir?
Not much. You're on with me, Big Kev, Matt OG, and Lisa Correo.
Yeah, I've been watching the posts all week from the D-Con, and you guys are killing me with all the cool stuff available there.
There was a lot for if you're going there not just for the panels or the autograph session or the artist alley stuff. If you were going there to shop, it was a good year to go and shop. There was a lot of cool shit that I saw this year that I didn't even know existed.
I think the most amazing part, or my big takeaway from this year's New York Comic Con was I thought the paddles were okay, but not amazing. And as far as the people who had booths that were there were some really nice booths, but there wasn't an overabundance of them. But everybody seemed to really be having a good time. And so my takeaway was that there are people that really can enjoy themselves at a convention that's not San Diego, part of my San Diego hate, and still actually appreciate a con for what a con is, as opposed to Little Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right. I follow all these guys that do resin work, and they were all there selling the wares, you know.
Oh, nice. I know.
I really just called to see if I tagged you a bunch of times on some Rick and Morty shirts. I wondered if you picked any of those up.
I think I saw some of the ones that you posted, that you tagged me on there. I didn't buy any Rick and Morty stuff during the con, but I did buy before the con from our buddy Josh Merman, who has the deal with Rick and Morty, where they were issuing T-shirts after the episode would air.
Nice.
They were exclusive made T-shirts for this. You can look up Zen Monkey Studios, and they still have a bunch of the stuff up there. But I bought I haven't gotten yet, but I know it's coming. Blips and Chips
nice
shirt, which was awesome. Yeah, they got a lot also stuff.
I saw that shirt at the con.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, they did have a booth there. I forgot to go over there, but yes, they had a booth over there. They also have a family portrait with Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Yeah.
Right? So they're all smiling, and he's right there in the center, like, ta-da! So that's a good shirt as well. Yeah, go over to Zen Monkey Studios and take a look at what they got, and if you get an email from Josh, just tell him, we told you.
Definitely check that out.
All right, dude, I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to give you a copy of Furious 7 on Blu-ray and digital. Is that good?
Ooh, I really was going to say, how about one of those nervous wreck pieces?
Oh, he wants one of those.
Yeah, he's a resin guy. He's a toy collector.
Oh, okay. You want one of these? Yeah, I can do that for you. All right.
Beautiful, brother.
I'm going to give you one of those, and check out suburbanvinyl.com. Thanks to them for donating this.
That's right, in lovely Waldwick, New Jersey.
Beautiful, beautiful Waldwick.
All right, I'm going to
Thanks, fellas. Have a good night.
Take care, man.
Put you on hold, Bob, and you can get that.
Lovely Waldwick, New Jersey.
Let's see who else is on there. Oh, speaking of panels, let's go to John in Staten Island, Matt.
Oh.
John, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. What can we do for you, sir?
A quick question. I've been to Comic-Con 2 years, and I was wondering, is it worth it to go to the panels? How are the lines waiting for it? What's some advice maybe you can give me? Because I feel like I'm going to waste my whole day.
Wow.
Excellent.
Lines for panels.
Well, here's the thought process behind going to panels at any Comic-Con. Do you want to do anything else that day? Are you only there for one day?
Well, I went 2 days this year.
Okay, 2 days. So one of those days you should look ahead, see what panel you might want to enjoy on either of those days, and then plan for the entire day to be about that panel, and then spend the other day doing everything else at the con and any additional time that you might get after the panel is over if you manage to get in, because that's really the way Comic-Con works. If you want to see a panel, you literally have to be there at dawn. Most times, especially the
And it
bigger
also
panels.
depends on the popularity of the panel that you want.
I said The Walking Dead on Thursday. I wanted to see.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, was Walking Dead a panel? Because I know they did something at Madison Square Garden where they screened the first episode and the whole cast was there.
I think there was a panel also.
There was a panel, okay.
Robert Kirkman.
And
something like that.
Right.
Maybe not in New York would have the line to wait for this.
No,
but
they did.
They did for
yeah.
days?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Because in San Diego, for Star Wars, people 3 days strong before that thing even hit, the police had it fenced out and everything. They were just living like hobos in a park.
Yeah, so I actually I lived like a hobo at Star Wars Celebration this year,
yes.
where I spent the night of my birthday in the basement of the Anaheim Convention Center, lined up with a few thousand people, including our friend Matt Booker.
Yeah, that's right.
From Automatic Comics in England. And we spent the entire night living like hobos. I have great pictures of that. I should send them to you.
I've always wanted to go to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Celebration's a great con.
Matt, do you have anything on panels?
Yeah, actually, I don't go anymore. That's my thing on panels.
Yeah, we gave up.
Honestly, I feel like, especially nowadays, with the exception of exclusive video footage, 9 times out of 10, all of the content of the panel you can get
online
a day later, or sometimes even an hour later. And some panels even get streamed depending on who is running the con or what the panel is. So, I mean, honestly, it's a big waste of time to me. I don't have the patience to wait online for I had to wait online this year for 2.5 hours to get an autograph, and that really
Who was the
pushed
autograph
my.
with?
It was Gina Torres from Firefly.
Okay,
it really pushed my level of patience.
Did it grind your gears?
It really ground my gears. Yeah, I mean, I there are 100 other things I would rather do while at a convention than wait online for a panel. I gave up on panels years ago.
Years ago.
Yeah.
There's just no point. I mean, and especially in this day and age, like, for example, the day of the Star Wars panel in San Diego, it was online almost simultaneously, just as one example. I don't know if the New York ones were the same. Maybe some of them were.
Well, they had a screening of X-Files, I think, on Saturday.
They did,
right.
yes.
Right.
Look, if you are a huge fan of the content of that panel, it might be worth it for you to stand in line with other fans, commiserate, the camaraderie that goes along with waiting online, seeing the panel, getting in. I'm not going to fully knock it, but you have to be really committed to whatever it is you're seeing, and you have to know that very well could be your entire day.
Yeah, and I still had a great time at Comic-Con both days. It was amazing.
So there you go.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I think OG and I have a really great time at cons now. Any cons, really, because I think we have so much experience at this point that we know what to scrape off.
Right.
We know what to avoid. And we know, like, the best things to get at Comic-Con are, like, discount trades.
Right.
Guys who are blowing trades out. Artwork.
Yep.
Be it 2D or 3D.
I actually have an artwork story. I'll tell you later. But
Nice.
I never have an artwork story, but I got one from this year.
And like, if you can avoid those, and you got to stay away from, like, the Marvel booth, because there will inevitably be a clusterfuck around that booth that will slow the whole con down.
There was a
I
cluster.
actually saw Eric there at the Jessica Jones taking pictures, sitting at the desk.
Yeah, Netflix was there doing
is that
promo
right?
shots and stuff, and I was talking to the guy for a while, and he goes, "Do you want to do a promo thing for Jessica Jones?" I was like, "Yeah," because there's an image that appears in the wall, right? Like there's a plain wall, and then it starts to deteriorate, and then you're seeing like planks in the inner ship between buildings, and these eyes open up. And you're just hearing Jessica. Oh, you know what? I'm going to play it for you. Oh, I have it right here. Hold on a second.
This is that kind of show.
I'm going to pull.
Do you have it at hand?
Hold on one second here.
Okay.
I'm going to play it through my phone.
Jessica Jones, I know everything.
Oh, that's David Tennant.
That's Purple Man.
That's Purple Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I saw that, I was like, yes, I want to be a part of that. And it's cool because I tried to get the newspaper that they gave me, and it has the police thing about Daredevil on the front of the newspaper.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we kind of have to use that. And I kept coming back. I'm like, is the paper worn? Do you have another one? Can I grab it? But they didn't give it to me.
I got the Nelson and Murdoch business cards.
Yeah, I got one of those.
There were the photo. I'll tweet it out in a second.
There were four lines this year at Comic-Con that I can think of where you had to commit yourself. One you had to not avoid. That was the line to get into the con. People were lining up hours and hours in advance to get in.
Unbelievable.
Then there was the panel lines.
By the way, real quick, with that, I'll post this photo too. Gittles took an amazing photo, I think, on the second day while he got there before it opened, but he has the pass to get through. He walked on some kind of structure or whatever and took a photo, and it looks like the cattle call scene from the first episode of Walking Dead this season. Yeah, it's really creepy how many people were just waiting there to be led into this thing.
So there's the panel line, the line to get into the con, and then the other two lines that were just ridiculous was the Toy Tokyo line and the Funko line. And the Toy Tokyo line was 4 Funko pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, those two lines were
there exclusives at Toy Tokyo that weren't at Funko?
And they had Godzilla exclusives.
No, it wasn't only that.
I know, but those were like
they had like Japanese import Funko stuff from that con in Japan.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the name of the con in Japan
I know what you're talking about.
But they had Funko exclusive piece. Like for Funko collectors, it was like a huge score because these, I think, they were only released in Japan.
Right.
And so this was possibly their only opportunity to get them in the U.S. for whatever Lev decided to charge for them 3 or 4 times what the going rate is, I'm sure. But the point is that line was 60, 70 people deep before the con opened. Yep. I don't know how, because exhibitors aren't allowed to buy, but that line was 60 or 70 people deep before the con opened. And for the rest of the day, as long as they had product, there was at least 100 people in that line.
Yeah, it was insane. And then Funko was the same thing. Funko had that whole wristband lottery thing going on.
And they still had a massive crowd waiting.
Yep.
Yeah, but the thing with Funko, too, is we're going to play our interview with Mark a little bit later. The wait for Funko, like you said, there was tickets for it. There was 2 sessions.
Yeah.
So if you got there in the morning and didn't get the ticket, you had to wait, like, I think it was not much, it was like 2 or 3 hours before the tickets for the second session in the afternoon.
Correct.
So if you didn't get any of the tickets, you were kind of, in shit's creek there.
Screwed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I hope in some long-winded way that answered your question about
Yes.
panels, sir.
I hope that answered.
It did. I really appreciate it. And I did have one other question. Was it a little more crowded this year than previous years?
160,000 plus,
On
sir.
fucking Thursday it was.
So if it's 160,000 plus, they beat their numbers from last year by almost 10,000 people.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, a bit more, yeah.
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
was 151, I think, last year.
And the
they cross
news,
150?
all the news
think,
was, for their lighthearted pieces, but they were all covering New York Comic Con, and they were all throwing those numbers out there that this is now the biggest con.
I love those
attendance.
coverage. It's like, hey, and we're going to check out Comic-Con today. Check out all the costumes and shut up.
It's all cosplay coverage, 90% of it. It's
It
amazing.
is.
John, I'm going to put you on hold, and I'm going to give you something. Do you want a copy of Furious 7?
Impractical Jokers would be awesome.
I cannot give those away. Okay. Practical Jokers, I got you a copy. It's signed by everybody but Brian Quinn because he wasn't in.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm going to put you
Q
on hold.
wasn't in?
No, he had something to do, so he couldn't come in. But
I love Brian
Que sera, sera. Let's go to Brett in South Carolina. South Carolina is representing strong today. How are you, Brett?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are you?
Good. What can we do for you?
Good. I was just curious, and I know, like you just said, 160,000 people, but did anyone during the day, you guys were there on the second day?
We were there,
all
all
4 days.
Okay. Second day, anyone wandered around, happened to see a wedding going on?
A wedding?
Yeah.
Wedding
No.
with
No.
Lewis? Was Lewis double dipping? You know Lewis is an ordained minister, right?
Yeah, I don't remember who performed the ceremony, but a friend of mine here in South Carolina is a Lara Croft cosplay person. She actually builds and sells a lot of weapons online for other people that want to be Lara Croft. But her sister got married at the Comic-Con, and the maid of honor, all the bridesmaids were Lara Croft. The groom, the best man, and all of the groomsmen were Indiana Jones.
Oh, that's nice. That's kind of cool.
And
Look, if that's your thing, it's
They
cute.
got about 45 family members to go to Comic-Con with them to witness it as well, and they tried to get as many of them as possible in some kind of costume.
That's 45 people who are going to hold it against them for the rest of their lives.
Easily.
Yeah,
That's
right? Absolutely.
That's 45
Absolutely.
people who are still mad today that they had to do that.
But I didn't know if anyone saw anything out of the ordinary, like someone actually getting married in a group of
No,
I did not.
I've seen engagements.
I didn't think it would be possible, but
Anything's
I thought it was
possible
cool
at
that they did that.
Comic-Con, sir.
I mean,
right.
it really
I know,
depends on where at the con it took place, but anything is
I know.
possible.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I haven't
That's
seen.
awesome,
I
though.
haven't seen a wedding. I've seen engagements. I've seen things that predate those cosplay is not consent signs that are everywhere, and the harassment policy. Because I think one year, I swear to God, you know where that little FedEx area is,
Yeah.
right? There was a girl sleeping on the floor. Asian girl in an anime kind of outfit thing with a short skirt, but she was passed out, sleeping on a backpack, and her skirt was up and nothing under the skirt. And guys were just walking around taking photos and everything, and nobody thought to wake her up. I didn't either. I just kept walking.
There was the girl that got assaulted in San Diego. Was that last year?
Yeah, I think
it was
so.
last year.
Yeah,
Like,
just because
big
they're
time.
wearing these rather stimulating costumes doesn't mean you can get all touchy feely with these people.
Cosplay is not consent.
Do you know who was at Comic-Con, sir, in costume? Have you seen those pictures yet?
Two of them.
Two of
Mark
them.
Ruffalo and
Yeah,
Jared Leto.
and Jared Leto,
Were both walking around New York Comic-Con in costumes.
In weird costumes.
In weird
That you would
costumes.
never have at Comic-Con, which is like right away should be like Ruffalo had like a hobo
With a
rubber
giant
mask.
cigar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jared Leto had like some sort of African bird thing
Yeah, it was
on his
weird.
head. It was totally weird.
Yeah, it was totally bonkers. But that's becoming more and more popular, right?
Yep.
Was it Bryan Cranston did it at San Diego a couple years ago
but
as
he wore-
Bryan Cranston?
I know, it was so great. He wore a Heisenberg mask.
Right.
And they took it off at the panel, and it was just him. It was hysterical. I love that photo.
Imagine if somebody booed and like, you didn't even try. Brett, I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to give you a copy of Avengers Age of Ultron. Is that all right?
Awesome. Sounds good.
Okay, hang on one second. You're on hold. Wow, a lot of calls coming in. Let's talk about, let's go to Stan in PA. Stan, how are you, sir?
Hello, Stan.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello.
Speak,
I'm
sir.
good. How are
speak.
you?
Good. What can we do for you, man?
I was just wondering, did you guys happen to check out the Ash versus Evil Dead panel? I was at it on Saturday, and it was actually totally worth it.
I didn't go to the panel. We did do some interviews on the press line for Ash vs. Evil Dead.
That's right.
We talked to Dana De Lorenzo. Mm-hmm. We talked to Lucy Lawless. Yep. We talked to, who's the guy that plays Ash?
That Campbell guy, right?
The guy in the snazzy purple smoking jacket.
Bruce Campbell.
It was Groovy Bruce. As he was saying hi to everybody. We spoke to him and a couple of the other cast members that are new to the world of Ash vs. Evil Dead. We got to see the first episode.
We did.
And they just, I got to show you this book. I'll get it after the break. They made an Ash vs. Evil Dead special edition pop-up book.
Oh, nice.
Like there's one part here where the white car shoots out right at you. It's like, this is amazing. Crazy. And they gave us a couple of the episodes.
Oh, very cool.
So we'll have to check it out.
I could say honestly, going into it, I was an Evil Dead virgin. My buddy who I went with loves the series, so that's why we went to the panel, and it blew me away.
Matt told me that he felt it was a perfect example because it doesn't come out for a bit.
October 31st,
right? But so you still got to wait. But Matt said it's a perfect blend of Evil Dead 1 and Army of Darkness.
I could say what I said if you'd like.
Sure.
I'm here.
Matt said.
No. What? So did they show the first episode?
Yeah, they aired the entire first episode.
Okay, good. So this is my takeaway. It's if you take Bruce Campbell's Ash from Army of Darkness and put him in the first Evil Dead movie. That's what it's like. So it has that real, scary,
the movie's serious, but Bruce is campy.
Right, yeah, the Deadites are legit scary on the show. But Bruce is so groovy. But it's great, though. It works so well for that character in that story.
He works at a Best Buy, which is so funny.
Do you know, Eric, what Matt said was that if you took the Bruce Campbell from...
I get it, Kev. All right.
But, I really liked it. I'm really looking forward to the series.
And I think what you guys were saying about the panels, what they did at the Hammerstein Ballroom was a perfect way for them to do the panels. There was no waiting, unless you went to some of the crazy, I know the anime panels earlier in the day were nuts, but we walked in, we got there a half hour early, got in line, went in, watched it, and left.
Uh-huh. That's cool. So, look, I think the only problem with the Hammerstein, it's too far away. So it kind of prevents you from doing other things. But I think as that area gets redeveloped, you're going to see a lot of changes to New York Comic Con coming in the future.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool. I'm glad you had a good time. I'm glad you checked out the panel.
Stan, I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to give you a copy of Tremors 5. Is that cool?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, I'm going to put you on hold. We'll get his information. I think Lewis is going to be ready there because we're going to play one of the interviews that we did at Comic-Con. And while we do that, I'm also going to run and get the Ash vs. Evil Dead book so we can look at it here on the air and stuff like that.
That's fun.
But like we said, we were on the press line for Ash vs. Evil Dead, and we got to speak to our old pal, Lucy Lawless. Last time she was on, we talked to her about Salem, the witch show that she was a part of. We talked about her history of being naked in every series that she's been in, and of course that comes up in here. So let's go to the press line. She was not naked in Xena.
You said every series.
Since Xena.
Oh.
All right. Asterisk. Since Xena. You just threw me off. All right, let's go to the press line and let's speak to Lucy Lawless. You're on the floor of New York Comic Con for Ash vs. the Evil Dead, and we're talking to Lucy Lawless. It's good to talk to you again. How are you?
I'm so happy to be here.
Last time we talked to you was for your show Salem, and we explored your career in depth and realized that it seems to be that anytime you get hired for a new show, there seems to be a requirement that you have to get either completely naked or hook up with some kind of girl in every one of your programs.
Yep.
Does this follow that tradition with this show?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Well, yeah. You know what? It wasn't written, and then eventually they were like, you know what? We really needed to be naked in that scene. We need to go back and reshoot something. I was like, of course. And I'm able to look at it and go, they're right. It is just much funnier if she's naked. You know, it's much better. It's a cooler story.
So we're not breaking the streak here. This Ash vs. Evil Dead adds to the collection.
I haven't kissed a girl yet, but she does have a little bit of a thing for Amanda Fisher, Jill Maureen Jones' character.
Well, I don't think anybody wouldn't have something for her.
That's right. She's pretty hot.
What can you tell us about Ruby involving her involvement in the show for Ash vs. Evil Dead?
Okay, so my character's father was killed by Ash in the original series, or by the Deadite Plague that Ash released, and her mother, because he was Professor Nobi who held the Necronomicon earlier on. So now that he's released the Deadite Plague again, she is going to pummel him into the ground and make sure he stays there. She wants to destroy Ash. But I'm kind of like Jaws. I come in slow because you have to build up his world before you can come in and destroy it. I'm a pretty destructive force in his life. It's my mission. It's my obsession. She's a little in love with him in a really negative way.
That's usually the best kind of love.
She's like the worst kind of fan,
Right. But without giving too much away, the way that you introduce yourself into the series is just you kind of show up and nobody really knows why.
Yeah, I didn't know why. It took a while because I came late to the whole thing, and they were trying to figure out how do you introduce Ruby, and it will all become clear, believe me. By the end, it is a big, messy, vulgar, distasteful mishigosh, and she's right in the middle of it.
Before we let you go, I've asked you this before, with every series that you've had that's become, kind of a cult following or a major mainstream smash, you wound up getting an action figure from it. And the last time we talked about your Simpsons action figure, so now you're going to get another one.
Lego Simpsons one as well. Lego, yeah, what cool, eh?
So do you think there's going to be another one for Ash vs. Evil Dead?
I would expect so.
Okay. So next year we'll see all these bootleg products of your face on T-shirts that you didn't authorize.
No bootleg, you buggers.
That's all, Eric.
But I want to see a video game. Don't you want to see the Ash vs. Dead video game? That'd be freaking cool.
Well, maybe next year. Ash vs. Evil Dead comes out on Halloween this year. You're definitely going to watch it on Stars.
7.
Lucy Lawless, thank you so much for your time. It's great seeing you again.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. There you go. Lucy Lawless on the press line for Ash vs. the Evil Dead.
Indeed.
We did talk to Bruce Campbell. We'll get to that in a tiny bit. But Matt was the only one that seemed to get a photo with Bruce when they were moving everybody around.
That's right.
Because Matt
Way
snuck
to
off
go.
to the back.
No, Matt did not snuck off anywhere.
Yes, he did.
Matt got relegated to the back of the line for the interview because the way the press line works, you can't get too many people in there, right? So you and Gittles were in there. And I was like, well, fuck it. If I can't get in on the interview,
I'm getting the pick.
I'm getting the pick. And so Roland had the camera at the ready, and when Mr. Campbell came around the corner, I jumped in there right quick. I got the snappy snap, and there you go. End of story.
Okay.
But it was fun. I was happy.
You know all about how important it is to get the pick.
Right, I do.
So I'm just saying, you should be giving hands up to this
I am.
This gentleman right here. Look, I'm gonna break away the fourth wall. This gentleman right here, not really a go-getter for the pick. Sir.
No. Normally it terrifies me.
Exactly. Not really. I'm just gonna jump in there and let the chips fall where they may. No chips falling.
No chips falling. But Bruce Campbell is one of those guys who's been on my list for years and years, and it always works out that I miss him somehow.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was like, "Fuck it, this might be the last shot."
You know who his white whale is, right? Who his Moby Dick is?
Nathan Fillion?
Alan Tudyk.
No, I have Fillion.
He's met Fillion.
Yeah, my Fillion pick is awesome because it's a selfie.
Okay.
But Tudyk is my white whale.
Now, who is he?
He's
Alan
Wash.
Tudyk was Wash on. He's also going to be in Star Wars Rogue One.
Oh,
He was in.
He
was in both versions.
Firefly.
He was in Death at a Funeral.
He was in Death at a Funeral.
Dale and Tucker and Dale versus.
He was
Evil.
the voice of Sonny in iRobot.
Yeah, I mean,
Right, he's been around.
He's been in a lot of things.
Okay.
Con Man.
Suburbia, that TV show, Suburbia.
Yeah, he was in
on.
Suburbia.
I'll have to keep an eye out to see if he's coming up here for some project
Yes,
one
you
day,
do.
and then I will tell Matt, here's my photo with him.
That's right. And
I'm sorry to...
That's right.
I forgot
and then
to tell
as I'm
you.
laughing over
hate
your dead body.
You try to get up
Your
here, sir.
smoldering corpse.
I will have your building ID revoked. Also, touching up on Ash vs. Evil Dead real quick, they were giving these out, which is awesome, the big styrofoam chainsaws.
Uh-huh.
And this is the book that they sent us from the fun people at Stars, where it's a pop-up book to advertise Ash vs. the Evil Dead.
That is amazing.
I'll take
I'm
a
gonna
photo
look
of
at
that and everything else, and I'll put that up on It's Erik Nagel on our Twitter account.
Very cool. That's look, Necronomicon.
I know. I'm working all of the... Oh, look.
It's like a full Necronomicon.
Oh, that is awesome.
That's amazing.
It just flips through like all the pages that you see it flip through, like in Army of Darkness.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Pop-up books, riveting radio.
They are. They are riveting radio.
Let's go back to the phone, and then we'll go back to some more interviews that we did on the press lines there at Comic-Con. Let's see. Let's go to Alex in Baltimore has a question for all of us. Alex, how are you, sir?
Hey, guys, I'm doing well. Love the show, guys. I'm glad they extended
That's the photo.
The extra hours.
Thanks, man.
So you guys talk about Comic-Con, but I want to hear you actually talk about any comics you actually read. I mean, we talk about
Awesome.
Doctor Who and all that jazz.
I'm
and
so
all the
glad I'm
panels you
here
go
for this
to, and
show.
even the Jessica Jones show, but what do you read?
Okay, we'll go around the room here. Let's start with Big Kev.
Awesome. Nothing Marvel at all anymore. I'm considering maybe retouching Daredevil, and I'm considering maybe retouching Captain America, even though right now it's Falcon. But absolutely no Marvel right now. DC, I read most of the Batman books. Batman Detective. I'm reading the Eternal series. I'm reading a couple other books from kind of the standard DC universe. Batman Beyond I read. I'm one of the 3 people reading that. And I also read some other things from DC like American Vampire, which is great. And a couple of things. And other than that, I'm reading mostly independent stuff, trade stuff, Saga. It's a book
Saga, Mouse Guard.
Mouse Guard. Oh, Mouse Guard is an amazing book. That's it, mostly. I'm not reading as much as I was reading even 2-3 years ago at this point.
Matt?
Yeah, I stopped reading as much.
So I have a problem.
Ago and switched to digital, but
Yeah, exactly. You see, I have a problem with comic books where I need to quit cold turkey every couple of years because what happens is I start reading too many books, right? I start reading like 30 titles, and then I can't keep up with it, and I get frustrated, and so I have to just stop, wait a little bit, and then reset.
But the other problem is that you read books that are designed to disturb you and upset you.
Yes.
So the point is, it's not even that he has to stop at some point. It's that the books are forcing him to walk away.
Well,
out of anger.
Because I have a couple of characters that I am beloved to, and I will read them no matter what. And even after my hiatus, I will go back and read Amazing Spider-Man, and I will read Green Arrow, no matter that I'm frustrated as hell with both of the characters, right?
Arrowgun.
So, fuck Arrowgun. But I also read Saga. Saga's an amazing book.
Saga's amazing.
Rat Queens is high up on my list, and I'm still getting a lot of books. I just haven't read them. They're kind of just stacking up right now. But I still like Batman because I think Scott Snyder is one of the best superhero writers out there right now. And American Vampire, his work on that is fantastic as well.
Absolutely amazing.
And I think outside of Spider-Man, no Marvel books, mostly Batman and Green Arrow books in the DC universe, and then a couple independents. That's it. How about yourself?
I'm a Marvel guy.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Look, don't be sorry for me. You're reading a comic book company that has 2 Supermen because they can't shit or get off the pot. So.
I totally agree with you.
Hold on,
Nope,
sir.
I totally agree with you. I remember Deadpool Dog and Deadpool Gorilla and Lady Deadpool.
Hold on. You do not want to open. No, sir. No, sir. You do not want to open that can of worms with the 2 of us sitting here.
Hang on.
You do not want to open that can of worms, my friend. We have 2 Supermans. Do you really want to go into how many Wolverines your company has? Sir?
What is your name, sir?
How about how many Spider-Man?
Sir, what's your name?
Alex.
Yeah. Tune in to next Thursday, bkgeekstuff.com, where we can get into this conversation a lot deeper.
I'll give you this clip. You can just play it on your show.
I promise you, Alex, if you tune in next week, we will absolutely address this topic.
Absolutely.
How does that sound?
I don't know. I just think you're wrong about Marvel.
That's cool. Tune in.
No, it's totally cool. It's totally cool that there is no Marvel universe and all the characters are just lumped together in some
All right, calm down.
battle world.
Calm
they're
down.
all fighting each other. They're all the same, but they're fighting each other in different sections of battle world. It's awful. It's awful.
All right. Alex, tune in. bkgeekstuff.com.
All right, very cool. Hey, Eric.
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm playing Giant Boulder of Death app on my phone here while you guys are all going through that.
Well, no, I've never been able to get to New York Comic Con. Anyway, you could give me one of the freebies or something they gave away at it, one exclusive.
Exclusive from the con. I don't know.
I don't think we actually have any con exclusives.
No, not
but
really.
No, I have some, but I bought those and kept those for
they're
myself.
yours, yeah.
I don't know what I can. I'll do this though, since you're a Marvel fan. I'll give you the new copy of Avengers: Age of Ultron from Marvel.
Very cool. Thank you very much. very much, guys. Hey, keep up the great show. It's a lot of fun to listen to.
All right, thanks,
Alex.
man. I'm going to put you on hold. Lewis will get your information. Lewis, for some reason the text isn't going to go through. We're going to do the Ninja Turtle stuffs in just 1 second, so have Seth Green ready if you can.
And what's great is Alec ends up with some of the better Marvel product out there, which is anything related to their cinematic universe.
The truth is both universes have serious flaws, and there are guys on both sides of the fence. Alex happens to be a Marvel guy. We happen to not be Marvel guys. But look,
I was a Marvel guy.
You know what? At the end of the day, of the day, if you're reading comic books, that's great,
that's
and I
true.
encourage it.
That's true.
And kudos to Alex and us.
You're right.
Is it possible you're not being open-minded about all of this?
No, because I've read both books on both sides of the fence, and I've come to an educated decision about what I personally like and what I find to be shite.
Yeah, and with all due respect, Eric, OG and I, between us, I mean, what are you, 30 what now?
37.
37, and I'm 26, so between us, we have almost 50 years of reading experience between us, and we were both Marvel guys our whole lives.
Truth.
Our whole lives, we were Marvel guys. And now it's like, it's unfathomably bad now. It's just terrible.
All right, let's go to one more call here. Who wants to talk about comic stuff? Justin in Oklahoma. Justin, how are you, sir? Welcome to the program.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you guys?
Doing good.
Good, thank you.
Okay, so I'm a bit of a nerd virgin when it comes to comic books. I like tech stuff, and, I like Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, The Strain. I read a lot of books, but I've never gotten into comic books, so I'm trying to figure out what my next collectible venue would be and what I would actually enjoy if you kind of think about Walking Dead, Strain type thing.
Preacher.
How about are you reading the Walking Dead comic?
No, I haven't gotten into those.
Yeah, I would start right there, since you already have an in by having the show. Reading the book will give you a completely different perspective on those characters. You can buy it. It's all available in trades at this point, in at least there's 4 different sizes of trades at this point.
Seriously.
So you could get it in any different. You can get like a giant phone book size that will cover like 3 or 4 years of the comics, and I would say that's a great place to start right there.
There you go.
I have the app, the Marvel app on my iPad, and I started going through the Purple Man stories for Jessica Jones.
Okay.
Yeah, because David Tennant's, and that kind of forced me to. I'm like, you know what? I know nothing about Purple Man.
Yeah.
So I went through there and found all I could, and I have it. I downloaded it. I just have not sat down with it yet.
Marvel has a great app. DC has a great app, and if you want to go digital and go independent, you can check out Comixology. It's a great app.
It's the one. Yeah.
Comixology, you can get all of the Walking Dead stuff. But if you're looking for something that's kind of in that genre that I think you might like, check out American Vampire. Check out Preacher. Check out, if you like tech, check out stuff by Brian K. Vaughan. You might actually really like Why the Last Man. Saga is some great reading.
Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah. So those are the things I always kind of toss out there.
You want to pick up Preacher soon.
Yeah, before the show starts.
Because Preacher's going to be on, I think it's HBO.
No, it's AMC.
Yeah, Preacher's going to be on AMC, and since we don't know how it's going to be,
correct,
you probably want to expose yourself to that book before the TV show starts. That would be my recommendation.
Yep, it's filming, so it's soon.
Yep.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm furiously writing down all these names. And
well, if you missed everything, the show will be up later on demand. You can rewind it and catch up on everything.
Hit me up on Twitter, GeekStuffOG on Twitter, and I'll continue to help point some stuff out to you.
Awesome. And at the fear of everybody's lashing out at me, I would love Age of Ultron.
No, the movie is fine. Take the movie. The movies are excellent.
No, they are.
All right. I'm going to hook you up with a copy of Age of Ultron from Avengers here.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Justin, thank you for your call, and we'll put you on hold. We're going to go, Lewis, back to the press line here. One of the other events, I guess you can call it, that we got to experience was Nickelodeon had a big presence this year for several different factions. One of them being their version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which if you're around our age and stuff and you like anything that that we talk about, chances are you read the comic books or you watched the original cartoon series and you had the original toys at one point.
Well, you older guys.
Okay. So, that being said, the new version they brought back about 4 years ago, I think it was about.
About 4 years ago.
On Nickelodeon, during that first season, everyone was skeptical because they loved the old cartoon and how is this going to be? And there's been some other variations of Ninja Turtles that didn't go so well.
Sure.
But this one has taken off. The voice cast is amazing. Rob Paulsen's on there. Seth Green is on there. Sean Astin. We spoke to Hoon Lee, who plays Splinter. There's a bunch of different people on there. So what we're going to do is we'll go down to the press line right now and speak to Seth Green, who is Leonardo on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Here at New York Comic Con, it's Matt, it's Giddles, and it's myself here with Seth Green.
What's up, guys?
How are you, sir?
Excellent, thank you.
Robot Chicken?
Yes.
It's the show that when it first came out, I loved it, but I thought maybe they're not going to really put too much behind this show. It's for we'll get one season and be done, and this thing just keeps growing and growing.
We've thought exactly the same thing and have been stunned by its success. The thing I always say is when we made this show, it was all of our exclusive conversations and jokes and secret musings and passionate things, and we were stunned when it came out that we got the viewership that we did. And then when we went to conventions and met with people, we were even more stunned to realize that everybody had been raised on the exact same media. Everyone had sort of had the same introspective, ironic observations about it, and all of that started translating into a shared sentiment about our childhood, what we were raised on, and it just became this whole thing where everyone, I don't know, we like just making fun of all the stuff that is our most influential.
Well, the two things I'll just say with Robot Chicken, at least for me, that got me hooked was the fact that one is that you had He-Man, and I always got made fun of because I liked He-Man as a kid, when other people were like G.I. Joe and Voltron and what have you. The other is you started doing the mock of "This Is Your Brain on Drugs," the PSA.
Oh, that's our first episode. Even.
Yeah. And that was just all right, these guys are exactly where I need to be, and I'm watching this show here. But Robot Chicken grew and doing all these cool things, but you're also doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Can you even believe that?
I know.
Did you grow up on Turtles, guys?
I did.
I love Turtles. I'm a huge Donatello fan.
Yeah.
The shell came off and you could store all of his shit in the back of the shell, but it never stayed on, and it was just oh, Donatello, get your shit together.
He's a dirty turtle. Yeah, no, Turtles were huge in my childhood, and it's translated over into my adulthood, and I have a little boy now too who's a huge Turtles fan. So it's nice.
Something you guys get to share.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things for me. I comics was something that I shared with my dad, and then I discovered Turtles in the comic shop.
Right.
And I saw them in black and white way back, and I just thought it was weird, and the art
was very
cool.
dark compared to what the first round of the cartoon
Oh my
became.
gosh. Well, the original books are very, very serious, and it's all about, being young and being a ninja and learning to be part of a team and having to do some serious stuff, having to protect people while keep your existence a secret.
Definitely not for kids. The original
not the original comics.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Absolutely.
I was maybe 10 or 12, I guess, when that first came around, and I was into it deep. Practiced drawing them all the time. And then when the cartoon came on and it became something a little more kid based, at first I was real put off by it, and I screamed about commercialization. But over time, I've really come to realize how accessible that made all of the mythology, all of this brand to multiple generations. And it becomes something that everybody can share, which I think is super cool. So,
I've gone back and I've watched the original cartoon a lot more, right? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to introduce it to my son as well as the new stuff and everything. And I realize now, I guess I didn't pick up on it then, that original cartoon really was weird and really deep after the first season. Once they really got into Dimension X, stuff got really kind of nutty, and I think I thought it was for kids, but now looking back on it, I'm like, maybe it really was multi-generational even then.
Yeah, they did some pretty impressive storytelling and character development in spite of it being so brightly colored and coated in candy.
Yeah. My big problem with the original run of the cartoon was I like consistency, and I try to watch everything in order, and because it was on Saturday mornings, sometimes they screwed up the schedule, and I'm like, wait, I saw this one. They didn't continue the story from last week, and then I never saw the conclusion. Then all of a sudden, Dimension X is here, and I don't even know how it ended.
I think it's got to be on a platform.
All the DVDs are out on Amazon and things like that.
But there are 10 seasons
Don't you love
of
the
that
future,
show.
By the way? My uncle's
the future is great.
It's the greatest.
Anytime you need anything, you just go on the internet like, I need this now, and it's like, oh, here you go, sir.
I know. It's either going to make us really overweight and dependent on machines, or it's going to enable us to do things like reach other planets.
It's probably going to be a combination of each. I think it's going to be like we're going to be able to get to those planets while being overweight. But, all right, we did it.
That's really the trick. We got to figure out teleportation. As soon as we solve that, guys, everything is in the bag. Yeah.
It's going to be Wall-E. We'll get to other planets on a spaceship. We're just going to be too fat to walk around and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's
those are all pretty, dystopian views of what is probably a very positive thing. Like, we're all going to live. Each of us will probably live to be 100, honestly, just because of the way medicine is right now. We'll all, maybe.
I hope. I cut out sugar. I'm trying for 110.
Yeah. Sugar's a tough one, man. I just went to, this is going to sound even crazy because I'm not really thinking about, I don't think I could seriously give up meat, but I've had enough conversations with people in the last couple months that it's on my mind, like giving up eating animals. You know what I mean? I don't think I can. I don't know how I'd do it.
I don't know that I could give up burgers, man. That's like my one that draws me in is the burger always.
I ate a burger before I came over here.
That's it. It's like, damn.
I know.
I think I could give up almost everything else, but not a good burger. That's,
I know. But at the same time, I actually feel like all animals should be treated well. And we're sort of scientifically beyond brutality to animals, and yet we're still slow. It's, we're still trying to figure out basic racism.
I want to treat all animals great. Just some of them are tastier than others, and so things happen.
I know, it's the truth. And I ate that burger and loved it.
Now, with your experience with the comic book,
I've never had turtle soup. As soon as I found out it was made from actual turtles, I was like,
You can get it in Chinatown. I know a guy.
I'm sure.
We can get you some turtle soup.
I was just in New Orleans and people were eating turtle soup, and then I said, "Is it from real turtles?" And they're like, "Yeah." Like I was the idiot.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh man, I don't think I could do that. I play Leonardo."
Cannibals.
South Jersey turtle soup is really big in South Jersey. You can get in a lot of diners down there. Yeah.
I wonder who is out collecting those turtles, or if it's just canned somewhere off site.
With your history with the comic books
impressive,
and
keeping
the
us on topic.
Yes. Well, we don't have much time, so we want to get everything in. But your history of the comic books and the first round of cartoons, and I'm sure, like everybody, you loved the first movie, maybe even the second movie. When they started time traveling and everything, I was like, okay, I'm kind of out. But when you find out that you're getting this gig, that they're going to relaunch Ninja Turtles, what goes through your head being such a fan of this series?
I genuinely couldn't believe the opportunity, and because it's such a high quality interpretation of all of this mythology and these characters, I felt doubly humbled by the ask. I'm at a point in my career where I really just do the things that are meaningful to me or that are going to be fun with people that I want to work with, because life is very short, guys, and you should not do a job that you don't like. And so this is one of those things where I can't believe my luck. Like, I dream of this kind of thing, and I'm getting to do it, so I'm just going to do the hell out of it.
And I think it's great that this new version of the Turtles, you kind of said it, but it's really, I think, true to the things that we liked about the Turtles. Because I felt like some of the stuff in the middle there, some of the other iterations of the Turtles that have been around were kind of like... They really kind of were just like flashy, splashy, in your face. These are 4 turtles, and this is why it should be cool, as opposed to that rich story. And I think you guys and the new show really does a good job of making it enjoyable for everybody.
I appreciate that. It's all those guys, man. They write it. We just try to act it as hard as we can. But it is interesting generationally the way that our generation interpreted all these messages. Like I was lucky enough to have that conversation with George Lucas at one point about Star Wars, and he argued that Star Wars is for kids. And if you really look at those first 3 movies, the original trilogy, they're made for kids.
Sure.
And the stuff that you love about them, you were introduced to when you were a kid. And so all of the people who grew up to be in their 30s when the prequels came out complained that the movies did not feel to them at 30 what it felt like to them as a kid. And he was very calm about it. He's like, they're for kids, so that's on you, man. The movie hasn't changed. You changed.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I actually like the prequels. I know I'm in the minority as a Star Wars fan.
You're not, man. It's time. It's just time. I've got a brother-in-law who's, I guess he's 23 now, but he came to con with me in San Diego, and heard a prequel animosity conversation and was frozen because everyone was cursing Jar Jar, and he like admitted to me almost through tears, I love Jar Jar.
He's the only one.
No, you'd be surprised. It's generational. It really is the same way that we loved C-3PO, who was the bumbling idiot that all of the adults hated. And George reminded me of this. He said in Empire Strikes Back, there's a scene where 3PO is blah, 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 and Han, will you shut that thing off? And 3PO goes dark. And he goes, what did you do? And I go, I almost cried. I was like, are they going to turn him back on? And he said, yeah. And every adult in the theater, and I was like, they laughed. And I got scared. And he said, yeah, because you're a kid.
Well, we're running out of time with you. Season 4 for the Ninja Turtles on Nickelodeon is coming up very soon. Last question. When you got this gig, did they say, all right, you got to kind of lay off the parody of Ninja Turtles for Robot Chicken?
No. In fact, we've had stuff in both Season 7 and upcoming in Season 8. There's, parody is parody, and the show is the show. But also, on Robot Chicken, we never do things that are brand compromising. All of the jokes that we make are just jokes out of love.
When you're animating Family Guy and you're insulting yourselves because of Robot Chicken.
Family Guy's a whole different story. Family Guy's a whole different story.
All right, I guess we're running out of time here. Seth Green, thank you so much. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Season 4 on Nickelodeon. Check it out. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate your time.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Right on.
There you go, Seth Green. It really was interesting for the fact that I was so curious about him being on this show, Nickelodeon being almost Disney-like, how they're protective of their properties, if they were giving him shit about parodying it on Robot Chicken, and he says that's not the case.
Yeah, no. It sounds like he is. I don't know. Even though Robot Chicken kind of pokes fun, I think Robot Chicken doesn't always poke fun at the characters that they're using so much as they kind of poke fun at. A lot of times they're kind of poking fun at social issues, but they're just using the characters to kind of do it. So maybe that's why he kind of gets away with it. I mean, it's not like he's got anybody from the Turtles, doing anything saucy that they shouldn't be doing, I don't think.
Oh, Randy.
I like that one.
Doesn't mean that they won't stop now because he's got permission to do what he wants.
Right, of course.
So you're going to see, there's going to be some, wardrobe malfunctions with April O'Neil people accidentally falling down an open sewer hole there and then discovering the turtles and maybe they kill them. I don't know.
How do you say no to that little man with those big, beautiful eyes that he has?
He was actually really great to talk to. He was like intensely sincere and like really engaged in the conversation. I like Seth. That was very cool.
We're going to go back down to the press line in just 1 second here. Ryan in Utah. Ryan, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Eric?
Hey, how are you, sir?
Doing good. Hey, so my question is this. I live in Utah, obviously, and we have Salt Lake Comic-Con, which is not as big as anywhere else. So what's kind of different between, like, San Diego and, like, New York?
Oh, there's less Mormons.
So San Diego is more of
it's more Hollywood.
It's the premier, I guess, con for everything to do with entertainment and Hollywood. It does lean a bit more movie than it does television, where New York is now the biggest as far as attraction where people are coming to it, and New York usually leans more television than movie stuff.
There's also not a lot of comic left in Comic-Con in San Diego.
Correct.
So
and I gotta say, he says he goes to Salt Lake Comic-Con. Salt Lake Comic-Con is actually one of the cons that you hear a lot about. I hear that's actually a great show. I'd love to check it out one year.
Oh yeah,
It's got a lot lot of good buzz around it. I like shows with buzz.
Put our magic underwear and we'll go right over there.
What? You guys should come out. It's pretty fun. It's easier to get into the panels, so it's not like way long lines, and you can actually do more and still go to panel and still walk around and everything like that, so it's way easier.
Okay.
But Saturday's a little bit different because there's a lot more people. But, I mean, for the most part, though, it's really easy to do. It's not that hard to go. If you want to meet whoever, you have all the time to do it. It's just, you got to plan it out right, but you don't have to spend 2 days at.
Well, look at it this way. At least you got a con out
That's
there,
right.
You know, because a lot of cities don't have it. More and more are cropping up.
Absolutely.
And it's a great time for a lot of these people who are, for artists, for comic books, for toy manufacturers, other collectibles, but also the people who maybe they're not that working that much anymore, and they're part of some of the favorite franchises from you growing up or to today. There's more places for them to go and meet more of their fans, and you to meet them, get what you want. So, pretty cool that Salt Lake has its own con. If you ever want to invest some money and time, you can, make the trip out to San Diego or New York for yourself and see what the experience is all about.
Yeah, that's definitely something I want to do. I just, got to find the time and somebody to go with, but definitely want to do it, though.
There's 160,000 other people there. You'll find someone.
Yep.
And maybe you'll find love.
Sir,
Sir, do you collect anything?
I collect some stuff here and there, but not like overly collective.
All right, let me give you something that could add to your collection. Do you collect anything vinyl? Any of the vinyl figures?
As far like the pop heads.
Like the pop heads, Funko Pop, yeah.
Just.
All right, I'm going to give him something to start him off on the right path here from our friends at Suburban Vinyl, suburbanvinyl.com to check them out. I'm going to give you the Phantom Classic figure to help start your collection. All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Ryan, I'm going to put you on hold here, and Lewis, we're going to go back to the press line here, and then we're going to take a break. And when we come back from the break, we're going to speak with Michael Chiklis about him now being on Gotham, which is awesome. They're doing all they can. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, guess what? I'm withholding my comments.
Thank you, sir. So we're going to go back to the press line. We're going to speak to somebody that I thought I just was going to be flustered by meeting, voice actor Rob Paulsen. Do you know who he is?
Comic-Con?
Of course. Never mind. Hang on a second.
Sorry about that. I thought that was the signal.
No, that's fine. Robert Paulsen. He was the voice of so many classic cartoons of the 90s.
Childhood in a lot of ways.
Better known as Pinky.
He's Pinky from Pinky and the Brain. He's Yakko from Animaniacs. Uh-huh. He's also Donatello right now.
And he was the original Raph, wasn't he? Raphael?
He was the original Raphael in the original cartoon. He's Donatello now in the Nickelodeon version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We're going to go down to the floor. This is where we meet him. Restart that again, Lewis.
And now.
Here at New York Comic Con for everything Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Nickelodeon has been great. We've gotten a chance to talk to a lot of big people for this show. This one, not just for Ninja Turtles, but I'm sure for Matt and myself here, is sort of an honor for us, for this gentleman, Rob Paulsen, who's done so many voices that we've all grown up
I don't know
with.
what you're talking about.
Oh my God, there's Yakko.
There you go. Come up to the water tower. We're getting liquored up tonight. Hello, nurse.
All right, I guess we're done here. There's nothing I can't top. I can't top that.
I'm done. I'm tapping out.
Egad, they both wet their pants.
No. See, he topped it.
How about that?
This interview is just worthless now on our
you
part.
You guys, thank you. No,
thank you so much, man, for everything you've done.
What a pleasure.
I don't think as much as people remember Animaniacs and the writing was. Even though it appealed to kids, the writing was so above and beyond a kid's understanding.
And that was by design.
And it was the old school Warner Brothers Looney Tunes feel with a lot of innuendos with the Hello Nurse and Buttons of Mindy and Pinky and the Brain and all that stuff. And so you can enjoy it on every level. But it's one of those shows that I'm sure we can all go back and watch.
Yep.
And it's not like, oh, this feels dated, or this was funny when I was a kid. You can go back there, and when you do Wheel of Morality or the mime things, there's always something I go back and I'm laughing my ass off.
Well, thank you, man, and that is absolutely by design. Mr. Spielberg and Tom Ruegger and the folks who created that show, all were influenced by the shows that you already mentioned: Looney Tunes, Rocky and Bullwinkle. Bugs is 70 years old. Wow. And you don't have to worry about watching Bugs Bunny. You can watch Duck Season, Wabbit Season, Fire, and it's fantastic. And it's the same thing with Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain. And the edict that was handed down, which incidentally is the same way that Ciro and Brandon feel about the new TMNT, is rule one is do not condescend to the audience. Do not assume that because you are making an ostensible child show that means that it's not for adults too. And in 20 years, that will be borne out just as it has been with Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain. And you're absolutely right. You can watch those shows with 30-year-old eyes and go, oh my God.
Because parents have to watch this with their kids
and they love
most part.
it.
Yeah.
And the things that's so great about Turtles is that they watch these shows with their kids and they're blown away by how culturally significant and part of the zeitgeist this show is. It's a huge joy to be part of it.
For those who don't know, Rob plays Donatello, who is Matt's favorite character.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Donatello fan all the time. I've been trying to get my son, who's 4, to be a Donatello fan, but he keeps on gravitating towards Mikey.
Well, that's
so,
okay.
You know, you win some, you lose some.
That's all right. He's still got a 25% chance of picking the right turtle. So I appreciate that. And I this is my second ride in the turtle van. When you guys were little, I was Raphael in the original
I remember.
show. So I am here in New York. I would have to say that with all due respect to Lou Gehrig, I'm the luckiest man on the face of the earth. You know? It is such a pleasure to not only be part of this, but to talk to you guys. And what's so great is when I meet people your age and I say, turtle power, or hello, nurse, and you do what you're doing now. It is the most genuinely sweet thing.
Guaranteeing that we'll never get women attracted to us?
Listen, my wife took pity on me 30 years ago, and it's only because I make money that she stays with me.
Same with ours, only I think they feel bad for us.
Yeah, they take pity on you.
Season 4 for Ninja Turtles is coming up here on Nickelodeon. What can we expect from the new season going forward?
Well, several wonderful things, not the least of which is that Donatello now is mentored by David Tennant, who is
Doctor Who.
Right, the 10th Doctor Who, but he also plays a character called Fugitoid on the new season, and I think 10 or 12, 13 episodes. And because he's a super genius robot guy, Donnie and he really work together. And let me tell you something, working in a show with David Tennant is a pretty damn cool thing. So you will not believe what's happening. And today they're going to show an episode at our Turtle panel, which will set the tone and I think kind of blow your turtle minds.
Well, I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, and I didn't need anything more to enjoy the Ninja Turtles, but now you're adding there there. DVR set and ready to go here. Season 4 coming up on Nickelodeon. Rob, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. When you're back in New York, come by SiriusXM.
I would love to.
Come in live. I know you have a million other things to do here at Comic-Con, but we'd love to just sit down and pick your brain, because we've done Billy West and Maurice LaMarche and all that. We'd just love to have you come in and just talk about what it is you do, the art of what it is that you do.
Thank you. Well, come in and you may pink my brain, as it were.
All right. So again, I ruined this interview. Thank you so much, Rob.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
It's Erik Nagel. Erik and Matt will be right back.
We're about to start this thing, but we wound up talking about food, and Michael Chiklis is now showing Giddles some kind of culinary stuff here when we were telling him that Brian does all this kind of specialty foods, like meatballs and lobster mac and cheese and those tacos. Oh, wait, where are you?
Oh, hello. Hey, there I am.
Okay.
Well, let's start with this. First of all, I have a soup company.
Oh, awesome.
Called Soupure.
I love that. I love puns.
Farm to table fresh soup out of Los Angeles. We're on the way to going national, but we're in Los Angeles, Orange County, Santa Barbara. We're taking over the West Coast.
That's awesome.
Our motto is souping is the new juicing. But I am because
that too. I like soup.
Okay, you can say whatever you want.
Juice, man, it's low in fiber, high in sugar. There's no good fat. There's no protein, and soup's actually food. And and the other people doing soup out there, they're in boxes and cans. They're filled with sodium and
so much.
It's crap. This is real, fresh, amazing food. What I'm actually looking for a picture though when I'm not being healthy and making, the stuff that I like to make. I know. Oh, here you go. See, I'm of Greek descent.
Holy crap,
so
that looks amazing.
That's my spanakopita,
Is that homemade?
That's me. That's mine. Yeah, I make the best spanakopita you've ever tasted.
I'm going to eat this phone right now.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Well, this is probably the best way we've ever started an interview, talking about, oh my God, that is amazing. Look
Doesn't
how
that look
flaky it is.
amazing? Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's like spanakopita,
And you
like
wish
lasagna.
you guys could see this. I'm so sorry.
Michael Chiklis, we love your work and stuff,
Yes.
but now I'm a fan of your cuisine here.
It's a problem. My love of food, though. It's
everybody's
it's a constant
problem.
struggle. Yeah.
Maybe next season, American Horror Story chef. And you can
Considering all the vices that you could have in this world, food is probably even though it could be just as bad for some people, it's the one you'd rather have compared to all the other bad things that
sure.
you can do.
Yeah. It's not going to make you behave like an ass.
Right. You're just going to want to be nicer to people because that guy makes a great pastry. I'm going to go to his place. I'm going to kiss his ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Michael Chiklis, welcome to the show. It's nice to meet you, sir.
Great to be here. Nice to meet you guys.
We've been fans for a long, long time. I grew up, I hate saying that to some people because they get upset if you say you grew up with them, but I grew up watching The Commish on ABC. And then seeing
when you were a kid.
Yeah, and then seeing you do when you went into The Shield, it's like he's not the Commish anymore. He went from he's an average guy, a little wishy-washy kind of thing to I'm not taking any shit. I'm going to kick your door down and take justice into my own hands with The Shield.
Yeah, language okay in this?
Oh yeah, it's whatever you want to do.
It's fun going from the roly-poly affable guy to a motherfucker like Vic Mackey.
Right.
It's just, that's acting, I mean, that's the fun thing about this profession is, you get to slide into other people's skins for a while and, and walk a mile in another man's shoes, as it were, So, I've been very, very fortunate that I've been able to have a very versatile career. It's not always allowed. Some people don't. They sort of get typecast and they're stuck in that hole and they can't get out of it. And I was fortunate enough to be able to reinvent and move into a lot of different areas. And then the whole superhero genre came up too, and that was a whole different thing and whole other set of fans. And what always bothers me though is when like a director will make a wonderful film, right? And it's a movie like Seven, which is a suspense thriller and a really, really tense, incredible movie, right? And they'll basically go after that director for all those kinds of movies. And I always want to look at people and say, well, look, in your iTunes playlist, do you only have one genre of music in there?
Right.
Or do you listen to, some symphony sometimes, and then sometimes you'll listen to The Clash, and next thing you know, you'll be listening to whatever it is.
That's why everyone has a problem when it's like, I'm going to put my iPod on. Everyone just goes, oh, because not everybody's tastes fit everybody in the room there, because everybody likes a bunch of different things.
Well, but I have an eclectic taste, so I'm all over the road. I'll be listening to prog rock, jazz fusion, hip hop, whatever. It depends on the mood that I'm in. So I just don't like being keyholed. I don't like, being typecast.
Right.
There's a lot of, flavors in this world, man.
So
Let's
to
go
speak,
back
yes.
to the well, right? I mean,
Very,
you
very
just
true.
want to make mac and cheese. It's bullshit. No, you want to, there's a lot of different spices and herbs and tastes in this world. So you might as well, enjoy all the flavors.
Yeah, and they
right?
all have the same elements. You just get a different product at the end,
Yeah.
It's all great.
Yeah. Love it.
Well, before we get into the reason why you're here today, based on what you were just saying there, I want to run over a couple of quick things. So for people who don't know your body of work, like
I
you
don't
said,
know who that is.
with the superhero genre, he did Ben Grimm, The Thing in Fantastic Four, The Commish. You did The Shield. You're on Gotham right now. American Horror Stories you just did, which was an amazing role. So you're all over the place, and you said that makes acting fun and makes you that's one of the things you enjoy. Out of all of these different roles that you've done, what do you think is most closest to who you actually are? Or do you like playing something that's completely different from you?
This is Vic Mackey. I'm running out.
No, it's definitely not Vic Mackey. I'd say if anybody's the closest to me.
And it doesn't have to be the roles that I even mentioned, because you've done more things than that.
Yeah, I guess probably my role of all of them is the role I played in Daddy-O. I think my favorite
Chris
function
Woods,
in life is being a father. I love being, I love my family. That I just think I derive the most joy from my children. And, so really I love what I do. That's, for so many years, my acting career and music consumed me and was the only thing in the front of my mind. And then once I got married and settled down and started to have children, really everything just took a backseat to that. And, it's actually been a very good thing for my art, because being a parent has made everything about my acting work richer and fuller and deeper. And, it brings an understanding about so many different things, difficulties and things in the world that even when I read a script, I just feel things much more acutely now than I did when I was just a single freewheel.
Right.
And more, frankly, narcissistic. I think it's really good for an artist too, because it gets you out, kids get you out of your head. They get you out of you.
It's humbling.
It's humbling. It's, again, I sort of facepalm when I think of myself as, a 20-year-old or a 21-year-old, because you're all about you, and you're very narcissistic, my career and my thing, right? And then when you hold this child in your hand and it's yours and it's part of who you are, then everything becomes about them, and you find yourself looking at yourself in a different way and going like, "Oh my God, I was such a idiot," and just very sort of self-involved, and it's good for you in every way as a person. And also, again, you start to, I don't know about everybody else, but I started calling my father and my mother and going like, "Oh, thanks you guys. You just don't get it when you're a kid. You just don't." And it's not anybody's fault. It's not, every kid goes through that. You start to relate to people like your parents in a different way. You start to realize, all the things that they gave up,
right.
Their personal sacrifice to give you a life, and all of these different things. You have a greater understanding and appreciation for everything else. And then as a byproduct of that, your work becomes deeper. It becomes heavier, just, richer, just deeper flavors, man. Sorry, I keep going back to the cooking now.
No, that's fine. Let's just go there.
It's great though.
It's definitely right there. Time is great for wine too. It just makes you better, and smarter, wiser.
Next time you're here, we're going to have this catered. We're gonna have a nice meal. We're gonna have some good wine, and we're just gonna dim the lights a little bit and just talk like friends.
That's a great idea, man. I like that.
Bring in a bunch of Legos.
Take the formality out of this whole thing. We're just gonna have a little dinner party and just shoot the shit, talk about life, and then maybe work in some Gotham like I'm doing right now. Gotham Monday nights 8 p.m. on Fox.
Like a magician.
You're Captain Barnes, Nathaniel Barnes. Before we get into the Gotham stuff, are you worried about this being a typecast because you're now an authority figure back in being a police officer again for the third time?
Yeah, listen, there's no harm in, going to bat, and being a DH, you know what I mean? Big Papi hits the ball, and he's good at that, so there, again, this is a perfect hybrid of things that are familiar to me, the cops and robbers genre and the superhero genre.
Right.
So it's both of them combined. So it's a little bit of the old, but it's also in a very new context. It's a big, lavish production, new people, new set of circumstances. So yeah, there's some familiarity in this role, but it's also, there's some practicality involved too. It's nice to be on a winning team. It's nice to be involved in a hit.
Doing this role and coming into this new take on an established universe for Batman. This is now all prequel stuff, which really wasn't explored up until this point. Like there was mentions, but to really go in deep as far as James Gordon and pre-Batman stuff and what have you. Going into this, were you or are you a Batman fan? Did you read the comic books or movies or what?
Well, I'm a comic book fan in general. I think whatever you really liked when you were 13 or 14 years old, you always have a place in your heart for it. You have an affinity for it. The bands you liked when you were 14, even if you don't listen to them for years and years, you hear it later and you just sort of smile. You're like, I fucking dug them when I was a kid, so that's the way I feel about comics. I dug them when I was a kid, and there's something about the imagination, about the mythology of these things that are tap into human universals, good versus evil. They're arch. They're in a way, they're harmless in that, something like The Shield can leave you really threadbare. I mean, that's real, and we were going for the real, and that's really hard-hitting drama that's really going after it.
Right.
This is an entertainment, and though it strikes on different
real
universals
things.
and real
It still
things,
remains a little cartoony to keep the
right,
buffer.
to keep that buffer. It's safe. It's not, the violence. It might be very violent, but it's over the top. So it's, there's a safety in it. It's not real, and you're always aware that it's not real, but it's really entertaining and engaging and visually stunning, and it's truly an entertainment. That's what it's for.
The comic books you read as a kid, was Batman one of them, or did you have other favorites?
I always liked Batman because, The Dark Knight. That's just conceptually the idea of this dark, brooding, super wealthy guy who's a recluse and who decides to use all the darkness in his heart from losing his family to do good in the world. That's a really cool concept, man. And then all these great arch villains that he encounters, and some of them that are really cerebral too. That's the thing about the villains that are really juicy. I think in the Marvel universe, I really lit up to a lot of the superheroes in the Marvel universe.
Right.
But I kind of lit up to the super villains in the DC universe because they were really intelligent. They were really sort of, because the reality is that most criminals are criminals because they're stupid.
Right.
Well, I feel like the DC universe is more of a noir feel to it. Has a more darker crime feel to it, whereas Marvel has a more superhero-y and has a more family
robots, aliens, things like that.
But DC is just it's a little darker.
All the villains,
Exactly.
most of the villains
and
in
if you're
DC.
a fan of noir, you're
like
going to
DC.
gravitate towards DC, and I'm definitely a fan.
It's all
I
vengeance.
love the fact that now I've been a part of both those great worlds. Just to because they're both great and they both have their real allure. But definitely DC is decidedly dark and noir, and I just love the moodiness of it. And to shoot Gotham in New York is so right. I mean, we were shooting in an underpass at 3:00 in the morning a month ago in Harlem. And this structure that we were underneath, it was this great iron Gothic sort of structure that you'd only find in Manhattan. You'd only find it in New York. And it just, the way the DP lit it, it was just darkly gorgeous, So I love the visuals in this show. It's really, really lush and rich.
When you're doing an on-location shoot like that in New York, when they have to replace all the license plates on the cars with Gotham license plates, do you ever look to see if one's extra's laying around? I'm gonna take this home, put it up on my wall in my office or something.
This sounds. I don't mean to be full of shit here, but no. I've been really lucky enough where I've been sort of given some regalia from different things that I've been involved with, and I have some amazing stuff that I've accumulated over the years from different sets that I've been on. But I really have never been one to clip shit. I just
never took a pair of thing hands home.
No, because they gave me one of 3 bronzes this big of the thing.
Yeah.
Of my version of it. And it's incredible work of art. It's a bronze statuette.
That's awesome.
This big, yeah. And they made 3 of them. And the director has one, and I don't even know who has the other one. And the guys who made it, the guys at Spectral Motion. And that sits in Spectral Motion as one of their gallery of the costumes that they've made for these sorts of movies. And I have the, Vic Mackey's badge and his glasses and his leather jackets and, things that I have the badge from the commish. I have, my hat, and a couple of other pieces from American Horror Story. So you take a few cool things from each of these experiences. And you know, a lot of them sit in my office, and those are just reminders of the path, you know. Pretty cool.
Well, let's talk about the present and going into the future then. Tell me about Captain Barnes here. Tell me about like what he's about and where you see his character going here with the new season of Gotham.
Well, in direct opposition to, say, someone like Vic Mackey on The Shield, he's a law and order zealot, strict adherence to the letter of the law. Believes that the law is the only thing that separates us from the animals. So he comes in, you know, in a season called Rise of the Villains as a counterpoint to,
right,
you know, to all these villains just running amok, and then brazenly coming into the precinct and killing cops and my predecessor. So he comes in as pushback, as sort of the cavalry, to mess with the villains, and also to act as both an antagonist and a mentor and ally to Ben McKenzie's character Gordon. You know, on the one hand, I see this kid as the future of law enforcement, you know, of the leadership of law enforcement in Gotham. But at the same time, I see him sliding down that slippery slope of...
Because he got fired, yeah.
Well, ends justifies the means. He's going after these bad guys, and he's breaking the law to do it because he's so frustrated at seeing them get away. And my character's like, no, man, you can't do that. You have to adhere to the law, or you're as bad as they are. And it's that struggle. It's talking about the dark themes in DC shows. That's really, I think they've really done one of the reasons I took the job, frankly, is I spoke to Bruno Heller, and who's the showrunner. And Bruno, you know, I had looked at a bunch of the episodes from the first season, pretty much the whole season I've seen. And, I honestly didn't respond to some of the shows in the middle of the season that were more procedural, that were going after that sort of compartmentalized procedural feel. And quite rightly, and I think it's the right direction for the show, they've serialized and they're going after that, you know, what feels right for the DC universe, continuing stories that are serialized, that arc over the course of a season or two or three. And that's what people want to see. They want to see an ongoing battle between different characters that, you know, leaves you with cliffhangers and continues on and on.
With your character now being this stern, staunch authority figure by the book and, you know, no shortcuts kind of guy, that puts a bigger target as far as people wanting to kill that character in Gotham, as opposed to the heads of the crime family, where people were gunning for them, but they were from the higher ups, and the other families were fighting each other. Now you're hitting the bottom of the barrel of the crime and the villains and everything, who are just going to go because this guy is ruining everything that we're trying to do.
If you're trying to say my character could die miserably, yeah, that could happen. But, you know, and I don't know when that might happen, if at all.
Right.
So, but that's.
But I'm saying it's going from one level to another extreme, where, all right, everybody knew, you know, the tiers of the crime family, and these guys were running the city. Now that they're gone, there's one guy on the opposite side that is now not letting anything go. There's no room to breathe, and now everyone's, you know, like, it would turn everyone against that character.
It's a war, right?
Right, yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
And that makes for great tension and storytelling.
It does.
Yeah.
So you definitely need to check out Gotham, Monday nights, 8 p.m. on Fox. We're in season 2. We're already a few episodes in, but they're on demand. Also, season 1, if you want to catch up, is on demand as well. You can check that out and get all caught up. Take a weekend for yourself. You're not doing anything important. Sit there, watch Gotham, get all caught up, and check out Michael Chiklis as Captain Barnes on Gotham. Thank you so very much, sir.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for being here.
One real quick thing before we go. I wanted to talk to you about Three Stooges, but I'm going to just... He played Curly in the TV movie, but instead I'm just going to ask you real quick, because you were the Thing in 2 Fantastic Four movies, and you did an incredible job. Just your thoughts on the fact that they rebooted it, which everyone realized just so they didn't lose the contract, not for the benefit of the characters of the story, and it did horribly. What were your thoughts on how they redid Fantastic Four?
I haven't seen it.
That's pretty much everybody else.
That's pretty much
okay, there you go. That's the answer. All right. Thank you so much, Michael Chiklis. Michael Chiklis on Twitter. Do you do Instagram too, or no?
I do.
You do?
Michael Chiklis on that too.
Same name on both.
Oddly, it's strange.
No, you're lucky to
your
get
own
it.
name.
Sometimes there's people are squatting on them, so they got to be the real Michael Chiklis.
Yeah,
you know?
no, I got in early on and grabbed my name on all of them across the board. So.
Thank you so much, and I'd love to see you next time. Like I said, you come in, we'll have some food, we'll have some wine, it'll be great. It's just a nice hang.
Nice hang.
Love it.
Thank you, sir.
Cheers. I like the food analogy going on there. It's good, dude. It's good.
Welcome back to It's Erik Nagel. 866-969-1969 is the phone number if you want to get in touch with us here. It's Erik Nagel on Twitter and YouTube for that stuff. E-Rock Radio on Instagram. It's all over the place. Lots of stuff happening here. Still got stuff to give away. We're still talking Comic-Con. We still got a bunch of other interviews to get to and so much more. Want to throw some plug stuff for your stuff there, Kev?
Sure, OG. Plugs?
Sure. Check out every Thursday
Give him a night off.
BKGeekStuff.com for new episodes of Geek Stuff. That's the podcast that Big Kev and I do, where we get to dive into these geeky topics in much more depth than
If you think this show doesn't go into too much, go over to there. They really explore everything.
That's right. We've been doing it for nearly 10 years.
Yeah.
It's a good listen.
400th episode will be in January.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
And
what are you
10 years in March.
What are you going to do for your tenure?
Same thing we did for our third. For our
Try to take over the world?
Trying to take over the world. There you
Gotcha.
go. We'll keep it at that.
All right. Let's go back to the phones here real quick. Let's go to Sean in New Jersey. Sean, how are you, sir?
Good, guys. How are you?
You were on the phone for about an hour hold.
Wow. Good for you, Sean.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hope this is worth it.
No,
It better be good, sir.
Absolutely nothing intelligent to add to this conversation except that I love the show, even though I only understand about 75% of it.
That seems to be the consensus of a lot of people, and I think 75% is a little high on your end. A lot of people think that they don't understand maybe a tenth of everything that we're talking about. Sure. The fraction's very low.
I recognize, the names, you
Batman.
thinking the brain early, well, of course, but thinking the brain and that stuff before. Even though I was never really a big fan of the show, I know exactly what you're talking about. And the Animaniacs, I grew up with that too. So, I love listening to your interviews, and I think you do a great job with those. So I listen every Friday.
Thank you so much, sir. I do appreciate the compliments.
Well, I appreciate the show. What I'm actually calling about is my girlfriend.
Oh, you're out of time. I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding. He's still there. Sean, I didn't hang up on you.
My girlfriend is a huge fan of Impractical Jokers. And I understand you might have a signed copy of their third season DVD.
I do, but maybe if your girlfriend called in and we could talk to her, maybe we'll give her that signed copy.
Always that way, ain't it?
Is she there with you? Can you put her on the phone?
Actually, she is on the way down to New Jersey to visit me for the weekend.
Okay, so she's not there.
No.
Well, look, this guy might be getting some quality time this weekend, and if not,
I say Furious 7.
I think a copy. I know why you're saying that. I think a copy of the third season of Impractical Jokers, signed by 3/4 of the group there, would help him get in the right direction with his lady friend.
I think that would be awesome.
Some afternoon delight. Is that what you're saying?
His special lady friend.
Exactly. Yes, it is a lady friend. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to put you on hold, Sean. Lewis will get your information, and we will give that to you.
Huzzah.
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 There's one left, Kevin. I see you eyeing it.
God damn it, Eric.
Let's go to Matt in Florida. Matt, where in Florida are you?
Actually, I live in Florida. I'm a truck driver driving through Nebraska right now.
Where in Florida do you live?
Bradenton, just a little bit south of Tampa.
Okay. Not a bad area. It's right before the cusp of it starts turning into the old and the dead as you get through southwest Florida.
Oh yeah, Sarasota, Venice. Oh yeah, that's like graveyard territory right there.
Fort Myers, and then the rest is just all being eaten till you get to Alligator Alley. Going local for Florida.
I was gonna say, I have no idea what's going on right now. I've lost you.
It's trying to show that I can relate to the rest of the country here.
Oh, wow.
Matt, what can we do for you?
Well, first off, I just want to say thank you guys for doing such a great job. That Robert Paulsen interview just made my night, man.
His name is Robert Paulsen.
I thought that was coming. I thought look, in this job and what I've been fortunate enough to do and the people I've been fortunate enough to meet, there's been a lot of people and a handful of people, maybe 2 handfuls of people that I really just lost my shit over meeting. And even though I was very excited to meet Rob, it turned out he was going to be one of them as soon as he started busting out the Yakko voice. And I wish we had more time with him, but we're working to try to get him on the program to sit in and take all your questions. And as Kevin said, he's interviewed him many years ago.
Yeah.
And he'll go as long as you want and talk about anything.
And if you get him and Maurice LaMarche in here, boy, you're just get ready for a party.
I'll give Pinky and the Brain an hour.
Yeah.
I will gladly do that.
And I'm telling you, it'll be one of the best hour radios you ever did because they are amazing.
They'll make news all over the place.
I agree.
So what can we do for you, Matt?
Well, everybody talks about Marvel and DC and whatnot, but, over the years, I'm an older guy. I'm 35 now. Back in the day, I used to read the Image comics, like Spawn, Max, and whatnot.
Sure.
What are your guys' take on those comics?
Kev?
And which would you like to see, like a reboot of a Spawn movie or something to that effect?
Well, you're talking about Image back then versus Image now. So Image back then was they were the rebels. Those are guys that all got together and left Marvel and decided we're going to do our own stuff. And Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee, and
some of them were very talented,
and some
of them are Rob Liefeld.
So and also Willis Portacio is part of that group as well.
Jim Silvestri.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of those guys that sort of defected over. So at the time, it was great, exciting stuff. It really was. Does it hold up today? I don't know.
Some of those books hold up. I went back recently, before I went on hiatus, so maybe about a year ago, and I reread the Max.
That's definitely
because he mentioned the Max.
Sure.
And the Max is just as good now as it was back then. But Sam Keith, I think, is one of those guys. He's a little bit unique. His style of storytelling and the stories that he tells are a little bit less. They're a little bit less grounded in time. So they live longer, I think. But look, Spawn was great back in the day. If you sat down in a room with Todd McFarlane for a couple of minutes, once you were able to understand what he was saying, he would tell you that a Spawn movie is still coming.
Hey, imagine if you were a soldier in the Devil's Army.
Exactly.
That is Spawn.
So, look, Spawn has still a huge fan base. The comic is still going. And again, there's been rumors of a Spawn movie for about
forever
10 years since the other one kind of tanked. So, we'll see.
If you like that character in particular, the animated series was really good.
And a bunch of those characters actually got eaten up by DC.
Yep.
All those when Image had its first kind of split with Wildstorm, which is where Jim Lee's characters went, they all ended up in the DC universe.
Yeah.
Wildcats and what was the Grifter and Death Blow, Youngblood, and I think all that stuff ended up in the DC universe. So.
And as far as Image goes today, Image right now is kind of your go-to for really sort of really great non-superhero, more science fiction type of books.
Sure.
Which are really great. There's one called Low that I read that's really good. I read Black Science for a little while, which was really good. And then they have Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like...
You might have heard of that one, sir.
Yeah, it's a foregone conclusion. So,
might be in the dollar bin somewhere.
And before Walking Dead, I know no one believes this, but Kirkman had another book called Invincible.
Which is an amazing... It's still going on, Invincible. It's another great read.
It's a great read and a great entirely different universe. So, Image today really has a lot of great stuff going on. So
it used to be the big two, and I think Image has actually earned its right to be called the big three. I think Image has kind of moved up there in a lot of ways. Yeah, look, it doesn't have the history of DC and Marvel, but it certainly has some heavy hitters. I think, and it's in its wheelhouse.
Okay, all right.
Does that answer your question, sir?
Oh, that was a
I hope it does, because I don't know a tenth of what they just talked about.
You don't know 75% of what we just talked about?
No. Matt, I'm going to put you on hold here. I'm going to give you a copy of Age of Ultron for you to watch whenever you're resting the truck and have nothing else to do.
Oh, awesome, man. Thank you.
Okay, hang on there. We'll put you on hold, and Lewis will get your information. We probably... let Lewis do that. Do you want to go back to the press line? What do you want to do? Is there anything else Comic-Con experience-wise that you guys want to bring up?
I mean, I think we kind of hit on our experience very generally. I mean, I don't know, very generally, it was a good show. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot to see.
A lot of art. I think OG and I bought more art this year than...
I've been buying more art for the past several years.
I know,
than
but
toys,
I mean particularly this.
Yeah, some great unique artists. Brian Fife is just one artist who I'm completely in love with his work, and it's not comic book or Comic-Con related in any way, shape, or form. He's a true artist that just found a niche in that environment, so check out his work. But it was a good show. I mean, overall, it was a great show. 160,000 people, so they beat last year. Yeah. And it's going to continue to grow. I'm telling you, man, 2 more years, you're going to see a Wednesday night preview night.
Oh, no.
I'm calling it.
Oh, man. I don't want to see that.
I know, because that means we have to be there on Wednesday, too. But
jeez.
But, yeah.
I do have an art story for you. I know I mentioned it
you said
earlier.
you had an art story. Yeah, go for it.
So, forgetting the gentleman's name right now, but he's an animator for The Simpsons.
Okay.
He was there. He also does the artwork for The Simpsons comic book for Boingo.
Okay.
And he was there. You can get Simpsonized and everything. He would draw you and all the stuff. So I'm like, okay. I'm looking by the booth, and it's also the guy that was with him also did stuff for Filmation. So like Filmation was the company that made She-Ra and He-Man and the Ghostbusters, not the real Ghostbusters, but the Ghostbusters,
the awful Ghostbusters,
the one with the giant gorilla, right? Yeah. So reasonably priced and everything, and I see there's just one girl there with her family stuff, and she's getting drawn and everything. So I'm like, okay, cool. There's no line, so I'm waiting for there. And then somebody taps me on the shoulder and said, the line's back over here. It went behind. It was right on the center of an aisle, and it went around the backdrop back there. People were waiting, and I said, how long have you been waiting? It was maybe 12 people deep, and the guy said he was there for 5 hours.
Holy crap.
And I said, all right, I'm not doing this. And then I looked at it, people were bringing their kids to get this stuff done, and I'm getting really mad and resentful at children because I'm like, these kids do not watch this show. I've been, 26 years deep into this thing. I want to get it done, and now I got to sit there and wait for a family of 8 to get their pictures done.
You didn't play the You Don't Know Who I Am card?
No, because...
Do you know who I am?
To be honest, the guy looked... I forgot the guy's name. Who did he look like?
Tom Cook?
No, wasn't Tom Cook. Ortiz, I think his name was.
I don't know.
All right, whatever.
He looked like somebody.
He looked like the guy who said, hello, friendos. That actor. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
There Will Be Blood?
I have no idea.
No? Okay. Anyway. So I got all pissed, and I'm now looking at children and families and getting mad, and then Giddles is like, just go. Just walk away from it. We'll get him another
Before
time.
You drop kick
I was
a child.
so mad because I didn't know it was there. That's what I would have waited for since day one of the con to get that done. But
should have got there early.
I had no idea he was there. Apparently, there's a lot of other things that were there that I didn't know about. And in fact, one thing that we're going to talk about in a little bit was there.
Oh yeah, I knew that was there. Oh yeah.
So what I'm holding in my hands here is Pepsi Perfect.
That's right.
So it's the bottle and the container that Marty got in the Cafe 80s in Back to the Future 2, which was supposed to be vitamin enriched, which it's not, but instead it says made with real sugar, which is
nice. It's the throwback.
Actual Pepsi in there,
right? Yeah, it's really good stuff. I'm never going to drink it or open it.
Of course not.
So apparently they're going to sell 5,000 of them on Amazon. They're going to be $20.15 or something.
Well, they don't know if Amazon. We're going to speak to the marketing director for Pepsi in a little bit. And she's going to give us all the information.
Because that's what I had heard.
From what I understand, that they're going to be releasing the information on October 21st, on all their social media platforms, of where you can go. There's only a handful of places you can go to buy it, and it's not on the Pepsi website. You have to follow their social media. So it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and they'll reveal the links to where these things are actually going to be sold. The price is $20.15, and it's first come, first serve. If they're out, and they're done. So let's be up early that morning and just keep refreshing.
The 21st, you say?
The 21st.
I'm going to put it in my calendar.
There you go. Set your alarm so that it goes off every 5 minutes, like the snooze feature.
That's it.
So that you keep refreshing and make sure you get your bottle.
I'm up way early in the morning, so I'll have a look-see.
And a lot of
you don't know what day that is. Maybe that's the day you're not up early.
I'm up way early every day.
Also, a lot of big, at least here in New York, Back to the Future celebrations for the 30th anniversary. Last night and tonight, right now, across the street at Radio City Music Hall, they're doing the screening of the first Back to the Future movie. But what it is they removed the soundtrack from the movie, and the orchestra plays.
Yeah.
Right, with the exception of the Huey Lewis stuff, which will be there.
It's the score, not the
score.
soundtrack.
So, all the infamous music outside of Power of Love is being played by the orchestra on the stage. The movie's right above them, and it's an amazing experience. And we gave away tickets a couple of weeks ago when we had Bob Gale on the show.
Yep.
And I've seen some of the feedback from those winners, and their seats are really awesome. They're like 6 rows back from the front. So this way you're not looking up at the orchestra trying to see the screen. You see the orchestra, you see the screen, and we can't thank the people at Back to the Future and Bob Gale enough for the tickets that they gave out for everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. And they're going to screen Back to the Future 2. I think it's going to show on October 21st.
Right.
In select theaters.
I'm getting to, the theaters, but there's also going to be an event at Lincoln Center.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They're going to have a press line with the entire cast of Back to the Future for Back to the Future 2. That's this Wednesday at Lincoln Center.
Nice.
I tweeted a link earlier today or yesterday where you can go online and get tickets and put in a reservation to get tickets for it. Yeah, so they're going to have everybody there at Lincoln Center. They're going to show Back to the Future 2 on the 21st.
Right.
Because that's the day that Marty goes into the future.
Yeah.
Also, tonight here in New York City, there's a screening for the Back to the Future documentary that I don't know if it was funded, but it's being promoted and supported by Michael J. Fox and his foundation. So it's called Back in Time. I'm not sure when that's going to be released to the public yet, but they're having a screening here in New York City as well. And there's one other thing that I'm forgetting, but they're really going all out for the 30th anniversary.
They showed some little clip of Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd discussing what Back to the Future 2 got right.
Right.
And they released that commercial for the hoverboard too. They've been doing there's a lot of
the
push
hoverboard
right now.
commercial is really good. There's also, they put out, somebody made a Back to the Future 4 trailer and it has Michael J. Fox now dressed as Marty, so he shot some stuff that they mixed in with this thing. There's also the commercial they did where it's Marty and Doc together, real time, driving around, figuring out all the things that happened in 2015 that the movie got right.
Right, okay.
And there's also for Lego Dimensions.
Nice.
Doc Brown,
Right.
Christopher Lloyd was doing teasers and little ads for that. Now there's both of them together for Lego Dimensions. That ad is out as well. Cool. All that stuff, you just go on YouTube and do sort by relevance or release date for Back to the Future, and all this stuff will pop right up.
Very cool.
So we have all of that.
Very cool.
Lewis, you there?
Hey, what's going on?
Hi. Also want to bring up Paul. You met Paul earlier. He had to go. But Paul and Lewis, this was their first Comic-Con experience.
Oh. Right.
So they had a good time, and I wanted to talk to Lewis a little bit because he was so excited about this. But he didn't get to go on the days he wanted to go because there was a problem. They never sent his press pass. So he was waiting for it. He got the confirmation, everything. It just never came in the mail. So he had to make time to go down, show everything, get his pass, and then he finally got in and everything. But Lewis had a great time, right?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
What was your some of the highlights for the con for you?
White girls in the costumes. I mean, that was awesome.
Lewis.
Definitely speaking to the cast of all that. That, to me, was a dream come true.
Right. Nickelodeon, like I said earlier, had a big presence at the con, and they were doing a promotion for the new Splat network that they have. I believe it's Teen Nick during the day, and it's the Splat at night. What that is, it's all the 90s shows, animation and shorts and real television shows that they produced during that time are all on this program at night. So it's like Nick at Night, but for people who grew up
from
in the
our
90s.
generation.
Right.
Yeah.
So they had the cast of all that for a reunion, and one of the cast members is Danny, who played one of the Petes from Pete and Pete. And Kel Thompson, is that his last name? Right?
Kel Mitchell.
Kel Mitchell, sorry. Keenan Thompson, Kel Mitchell. I apologize for that. I knew that, and I don't know why I messed that up. But he was there, and that event was going on at the same time that Roland and I were going over to the X-Files. And Roland was not going to miss a chance to say hi to his buddy David Duchovny.
Of course not.
So while we went over there, we decided to split the team up, and we sent Giddles, we sent Lewis, and Lauren was with us for a little bit. She was hanging out at the con there. We sent them over there to talk with the cast of all of that, and they had a great time, right?
Yeah, it was fantastic. It really was a dream come true.
We're going to put that interview up on the YouTube there.
Oh, nice.
It's
lovely.
It was plagued with some technical problems
Yeah,
with their recorder.
Yeah.
But Gittles Thinking Fast whipped out the phone, and the quality was amazing. I was surprised how good it was for how he recorded everything. But there's a whole interview for that. We're going to put that up on youtube.com/It's Erik Nagel. That'll be up later for you to check out all that. But the 90s Splat channel is amazing.
Ren and Stimpy going to be on there?
Yep, they're on
Nice.
there.
I'm watching all
I was
Ren and
expecting
Stimpy. Wow.
Double Dare to be on it, but it's not.
What about...
But Guts is on it.
Yeah, okay.
Which is okay.
Why not Double Dare?
I don't know.
Was Double Dare before the 90s?
Yeah, Double Dare was late
It was like
80s.
80s, right? Maybe that's
Double
why.
Dare started off in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And then got picked up by the Nickelodeon channel and then, moved down to Orlando when they built Nickelodeon Universal there. But, Double Dare had been on for long, because it was Double Dare, then it was Double Dare, where it was just only like two people would compete against two people, and then it was Family Double
With
Dare.
all of those shows like Wipeout, and there's another one out there too that exists. How come no one has thought to bring back Double Dare? It's Wipeout, but with kids. Is it a liability issue?
I think it is, yeah.
Fucking A.
Because
I watched Double Dare.
I always wondered, because they had those bright blue tiled floors that were very slick. You always saw Mark Summers kind of slipping when they had physical challenges or the obstacle course, and Harvey, the announcer, is always laughing at him because he looks like an idiot. But I always wonder, I'm like, how are these people not falling and crack their head open? Because if you remember, during the physical challenges, they didn't have the helmets. They only gave them the helmets during the obstacle course.
I always wanted to go in the giant mouth and search for the flag, or in between the toes, the giant foot, toe jam, or whatever
I hated the
was.
one where you had to get, you had to crawl in through the ear, through the face, and then come out the other ear and with the flag.
It really was kind of gross. But I'd watch it in a heartbeat.
I never could figure out, too, how you're doing all that. And then they'd always throw in the pool. And the pool had just like a ton of those floating street hockey balls.
It's called rinsing off.
Right. So you're after you went through the big pudding and the slide of the mouth.
That's right.
You go down there into what looked like puke and bile in a kiddie pool.
Yep.
Get the flag, pass it to your partner, and then that guy got to go in the pool, and you're still covered in green shit as you're running around trying to win, a brand new Huffy bike.
The good old days.
A Huffy bike.
But yeah, they don't have Double Dare back on the Splat. They have Guts. Ren and Stimpy is on there. I'll pull up the list in a second here, but they had Pete and Pete.
Bloated sack.
I'm down with Ren and Stimpy. Seriously, I will watch all of those episodes.
The history
Have you seen them
eraser
all?
button?
I have seen them all.
Because I love them.
Yeah.
The episode where he went around searching for his fart.
Yeah, well, the Son of Stimpy was that episode.
Hold on, sir. Because there was a bit of a break, and then there was more that came after the break, which were not as good.
Okay, I did not see the after the break ones.
Yes.
I saw
So
the original two couple of seasons.
Those were great. Right. But then right after that, it was kind of like, oh, something strange has happened here.
Don't Whiz on the Electric Fence.
That was still part of the
Space
original.
Madness.
Yes. Log. Excellent.
Log, of course. He rolls downstairs, a loner in pairs. He rolls over the neighbor's dog.
It's big, it's heavy, it's wood.
Exactly. Las cucarachas entran, pero no puedan salir. No, sir, he doesn't like it.
Powdered Toast Man.
Yeah, there was a Powdered Toast Man at New York Comic Con this year.
There
Came
was.
by
I saw
our
him
booth.
walking by, fondly thinking about Ren and Stimpy. Absolutely going to watch all of
They
those.
just won't let it go.
No, I will not.
Can't get this computer to work for some reason. I can't pull up the Nickelodeon list. There's a lot of great shows. Clarissa Explains It All.
Oh, I
is
remember
on
little
there.
Clarissa, a young Melissa Joan Hart.
Right. I wish they had Double Dare, and I wish they also had a show. I believe it was called Finders Keepers.
But that wasn't on Nick, though.
It was on Nick. It was the one where they'd run through the house.
I remember it, but
and
I
pull the
didn't-
rooms
that
apart.
wasn't on Nick. That was on like Channel 11.
Yeah.
That was network.
Was that on after the Double Dare ripoff, Funhouse?
I think it
might have
was.
been.
Yeah.
I swear I thought that was a Nickelodeon
I don't
show.
think that was a Nickelodeon show, sir.
All right.
I
I'm
don't.
going
I
to
don't
my
think so.
phone.
Oh,
what was the
boy.
one with the? What was the one with the giant monolith? Was that Finders Keepers?
That was
No.
Funhouse was the one that actually took place. It looked like in a house. You
Right.
saw a cutaway of a house. But Finders Keepers didn't that have like
If
a
anybody
giant monolith? I
knows
don't know.
the real answer to this, call us 866-969-1969. I'll hook you up with a prize there. But I swear to God, I thought Finders Keepers was on Nickelodeon. Apparently, it was all over the world. Okay. That's not giving me the answer of what I want here.
Keep looking. You'll
I'm
find
looking,
the answer you want
let's see,
instead
United
of what
States,
the truth is.
Also produced in Philadelphia before being picked up by Nickelodeon. It is a Nickelodeon show.
Really?
Yeah, Nickelodeon from 87 to 88, and then syndicated from 88 to 89. So all the episodes that Nickelodeon made, they also sold off for syndication when they
All right.
stopped airing it, I guess.
Alrighty.
But yeah, I love that show. You just go through the rooms, ripping stuff apart, and then you'd play the home game where you're ripping your parents' bedroom apart, trying to find stuff, and then you find stuff you shouldn't have found, and then you just blame it on the television show. Anything else from Comic-Con, Lewis?
I like the organization of it. And there's a lot of people in there, and I thought it was going to be really, really hectic, but it seemed to work well.
What day were you there?
I was there the same day you were, but it's not like I was getting
sir, I was
pushed
there
around.
all 4 days. Which day were you?
Saturday.
You were there Saturday. Saturday.
Yeah.
So Saturday was less busy than Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
As crazy as that
Yeah,
sounds.
it really was. It was consistent on Saturday, whereas Thursday was just a mob scene from beginning to end. Friday fell off a little bit. Saturday picked up a little bit, but it wasn't overly crowded.
We think Saturday was a little bit easier to navigate because there were so many panels going on, so there were a lot of people off the main floor and the panel lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
All true.
But anyhow, sir, do you have something else you want to get to as the time ticks down?
No, I think that was about it here. I want to go to one interview that we have before we go to Pepsi and wrap this thing up. One of the panels, one of the press lines I got to go on that I was really excited about doing was the Venture Brothers for Adult Swim. We've gotten to talk to Patrick Warburton and James Urbaniak, who play... James Urbaniak plays Dr. Venture, and Patrick Warburton plays... Why am I forgetting his name now? The bodyguard.
Brock Sampson.
Brock Sampson, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And now Doc Hammer and Jackson Public do pretty much all the other voices. The Monarch, Dr. Girlfriend, Billy, the Wonder Midget thing, and then his friend Paul White, and various other, the Henchmen, all that stuff like that. I don't know, are you big Venture Brothers fans at all?
I'm like, I've seen a few.
Yeah.
You really need to invest some time and watch it, because it's very funny. It's very smartly written, too. I have to keep watching certain episodes over and over, because then you always find stuff that you missed.
I know I like it, because I like C-Lab, and, I like other shows on Adult Swim,
good.
but yeah.
Let me tell you something, sir, about C-Lab. You're not in charge of Tigerbot Hesh. You mailbox head. So anyway, we're going to go back down to the press line here, and we talk to Doc Hammer and Jackson Public. They're the creators of the Venture Brothers. You're a big First Wave fan?
He tells me I would be, but I don't have Sirius Radio. Or Sirius. How is it pronounced?
I do in my car.
Thanks.
Sirius XM. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Okay. That's fine. No worries about it.
I play an iPod on shuffle. Yeah. That's my radio.
You update it much?
Not as much as I would like to. I'll put like a song on it, like, oh, I want to have that song on it, and then my iPod will never play it.
Yeah.
So it's like I never updated it.
Yeah.
And by the time it plays it, I'm like,
what thing will update itself for you? It'll go. You don't want the last 3 albums you bought on here anymore. You want, you updated. Here's
you
just
want all Urbaniak's voice reads on your iPod is what you want. Yeah.
I just spoke with James Urbaniak for Review, the new season of Review, and I asked him and Patrick Warburton about, of course, season 6, which we're here to talk about for Venture Brothers, and they both said, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like, I don't know. I was like, then he started telling me about how he has a rock band in his barn, and
yeah, me and Talon are playing rock music together.
Yeah, I think he plays with guys from Alice in Chains and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, Taff the Foo Fighters. Everybody but Dave Grohl. Yeah.
Eddie's coming over. He's going to sing with us a little bit.
Yeah. That's our Patrick impression.
And a huge Pearl Jam fan. Like he was telling me about, how long he's been with the 10 Club and how he gets all the tickets before everybody else and all the collector shirts,
set list and stuff. It's amazing.
He's got framed set lists.
Yes, and he's written some of them.
Yeah,
he's amazing.
I think Eddie Vedder has been like, hey, make our set list tonight. And you go, okay.
Yeah, let me just do that. Hold on a minute.
Let me just finish dinner.
Yeah. Me and Talon are in the garage making some rock music. Working a damn set list.
Well, finally, we're here for Venture Brothers, one of my favorite shows of all time, the longest running original show for Adult Swim.
Is it?
Yeah, and
it had to be something
with the fewest episodes.
Yeah, with the fewest episodes.
So you announced like almost 3 years ago that season 6 was you started writing, it was coming, whatever, and now it's coming in 2016. So I guess everyone's asking like, what took so long?
Well, you got part of it at the beginning of this year. The special was going to be like the first couple of episodes of the season. It was just it was a very challenging season. It took us a little while to get started up, and it was just a really hard one to make, and we had a lot of just kind of production disasters happen to us along the way. No biggie. It's all under control. Like, the episodes are great. It was just hard to make them this time.
Right. And Jackson and I are NASCAR drivers, and then the season got, like, the NASCAR season got in with Avengers season, and we can't not drive.
Yeah.
You know? So we had to do our races.
So it's not good that you had production problems, but you already had the stories and the ideas and a lot of it written. It was just actually making it was what was taking the time.
No, the writing took a long time too. It's tricky to make a show and write a show at the same time sometimes.
If you can imagine the problems that you might have making a show, we had them. Yeah, the ones that you think of some things that could go wrong, that went wrong.
Yeah, multiply them by like 6. And then try to write the show while you're dealing with those things.
Ask your friends of maybe what problems do you see? Like, poll a lot of people for problems that might happen in a cartoon. That's what happened to us.
We were just about to render everything, and the hard drive died. We lost it all.
That one didn't happen to us.
We had a lot of tech problems, and our tech. We do this in New York, and our IT guy is in LA. How do you think that? Yeah, think about that.
Just wrapped America's Got Talent. I do post-production, and we were doing back and forth between LA and New York, and it was like the craziest clusterfuck. It was insane.
Unbelievable. Just trying to open up a piece of software, and all your extensions aren't working because somebody else down the hall is using them. It's a nightmare.
Does it make it...
But we can make a show. In the old days, we could never do this. So, I'm not really complaining. I'm just saying there are problems, and we had them.
Does it make it easier or harder when you're writing? Because you do a lot of the voices for the characters on the show here, where you're writing it out. Does it make it easier having the voice and the knowledge of how they would do the dialogue in your head, or does that make things a little more complicated?
Way easier.
Yeah, way
ways you can write for, not only for the voices that we do, we know the voices of everybody on our cast.
Right.
And with exception,
makes it harder for them. Because we have their performance in our head when we record them. We're like, no, do it like it's in my head. Just do it like this. Do it like it's in my head.
Yeah, I'm going to actually do an impression of you doing the line. I know it's the most offensive thing to ever do, but if you don't do it, it's like a sneeze that I can't get out.
Yeah.
Because that's the cadence that we had written for. Yeah, we're awful people. Awful people.
Well, for those who don't remember what happened with season 5, I mean, everything went to hell, and everything's gone. Like, the guild's gone, Sphinx fell apart.
Really in the special, the Gargantua 2 special, everything fell apart.
Yeah.
Was this just your way to wipe the slate and go in a whole new direction, or did you have fun seeing everything collapse and all the carnage that goes along with it?
All of the above. Yeah. Like, it was like we definitely felt like we needed to bring some things to a head that had been like just dicking around with for a couple of seasons, and we just wanted a kind of new place to start from that we would be excited about, you know? We didn't really have any ulterior motives other than just like, hey, let's just shake up the Yahtzee dice again and see what comes out.
Yeah, it was nice that we had a lot of cars on the street, so we crashed them all, and now it's cleaner traffic.
So you can go off and...
tears. Yeah. It's cleaner traffic, but just the tears of the carnage that everybody had seen. Like, that was a child's hand sticking out of that wreck of burning car. That was a kid's hand. So we're moving better, but everybody remembers what happened.
Yeah. So everybody's got some Ouija snapshots in their head.
Yeah. So it's a rebuilding period to re-examine life and what everybody really wants to do with what they're going to be in the show here. Sure. The premiere is moved up to January, from what I'm told, in 2016 from February, which is great. Brings it up a little closer here. Season 6 is going to be based more in New York City than it would be like at the compound, right?
Yeah, all right. If you already know that, then yes.
If you want to spoil it, we're not going to tell you no.
Yeah.
But yeah, Yep.
Okay.
I mean, what can I do?
Well, I think Adult Swim spoiled it by saying it.
It's good to know they do that. Yeah, it's taking place in the city. I don't want to tell you anything.
No, I personally spoiled it. Yeah. I think we had decided to just cop to that right out of the gate. so that there'd be
Sure.
a thing to talk
Yeah,
about.
that's a conceit we can deal with.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, pretend to be surprised when it comes back in January 2016.
That we killed the monarch, right? That's not on there yet.
No,
shit.
No. Oh, well.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
We
need him. Yeah.
Before you go,
did we kill him? Am I backpedaling?
I hope he's the only one that
You know,
remains.
that's a spoiler riddle. Do those exist? Do those exist yet? Is that a cultural meme yet? Spoiler riddle. Did we or did we not kill them all?
Doc Hammer just created the spoiler riddle. Before you go here, you're at New York Comic Con. I don't know if you guys ever get a chance to walk the floor, but how do you take it when you see some of the, I guess, unofficial shirts and artwork and figures and those things that people are selling out there, all based on Venture Brothers?
Stealing money from my baby's mouth is what.
Usually we text them to each other and laugh about them.
Yeah, some of them are so bad that we will send pictures of it and go, "What reference did they have to create this shirt?" What are you gonna do? I'm happy that somebody cares enough about the show to bootleg it. You know, it's impossible to police. We wish people would get to buy our actual merchandise, but
we don't have much anyway, and we never made that much money off of it anyway, so they can't be either.
Yeah, they're not making.
Yeah,
we know how much they make selling T-shirts. They're not going to stay. They're not going to stay afloat.
Are you going to bring back the T-shirt club like you did last time?
We're pretty sure we will.
Yeah, we like doing that.
Yeah.
Because I talked to Justin Roiland, who's doing Rick and Morty, and they just started doing that this year after each episode, putting out a shirt that reflect, or two shirts that reflect the episode that you just
Really?
saw.
Wow.
But he credited it to you guys.
All right. That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
No, you not rip us off. That's how you do it. You don't just go, here's my great idea that came from them. You just go, that's their idea. I don't want to touch it. It feels dirty. But, God bless them. Also, we know how much they make. So, yay. It's not a lucrative. T-shirts are not the way to make money.
An episode and just kill them off as like punishment.
I love that.
Do a little
show.
team up. That's Rick and Morty is a great show.
Rick and the Doc
Doc and Morty.
That'd be awesome.
Doc Hammer, Jackson Public. The new season 6 for Venture Brothers is January 2016. Guys, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you taking the time out to talk to us.
Take care.
There you go. Doc Hammer, Jackson Public, Venture Brothers on the press line at New York Comic Con. One of my favorite shows of all time. I know you guys are here and there with it, but I really suggest, not just to you, but anybody listening, go online, you can watch a whole bunch of the episodes on adultswim.com. The DVD sets are out, a bunch of extra stuff on there. Sure, you can download it off of iTunes or Amazon Prime or something like that. But definitely invest some time. It's well worth it. It does pay off. After the show, we're going to do an interview with the guys from lorehound.com. LORE hound.com, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And they're here right now, Josh. We've been trying to make time to do this before Comic-Con, and then at Comic-Con, the schedule just got too crazy and intense, and every time I gave you a time, I was like, I'm not going to make this time, and I kept filling back, and he wrote, I'm guessing that since you're not here, this interview is not happening. And I said, no, I do want to do it. We just been running around from different press lines and the floor and everything else, so I said, have them come up on Friday, and here they are here. Tell us about Lorehound.
First of all, I appreciate it. The second time I showed up to Big Kev's booth at Comic-Con, I thought that was your version of the Opie hang-up. Like, I'm not even going to deal with this guy, so I'm just not going to show up.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, so thanks for having us.
That's funny, but that's really a dick move. I might start doing that now.
Yeah, he's stealing the bit.
Well done.
There you go. We're an MMO and MOBA gaming news and review website.
Explain to the regular listeners what that means.
All right. Well, I assume most people know what MMOs at this point, but
No. We have an entire audience across the United States and Canada that don't know any of this stuff, so we got to slow down and break it down.
In Canada right now, they're the biggest one. Kind of more the OG would be EverQuest and stuff like that.
EverQuest, yeah.
MOBAs are basically like all the companies started realizing like, well, fuck, we can't compete with WoW. What should we do now? And now they make MOBAs. It's like the new MMO kind of thing.
WoW is World of Warcraft.
Yeah, so like all the companies are throwing their money behind that new genre. And
is that
MOBA,
like Boom Beach and all that kind of shit? Like those RTS games?
No.
Okay.
Those free phone games?
Yeah, like the what is it? The Age of War, where they have like Mariah and shit. No, it's not that. A MOBA is it's a multiplayer online battle arena. So have you heard of League of Legends?
Yes.
So that's the biggest MOBA. That's like the World of Warcraft of MOBAs. And there's a bunch of others out there that we follow Smite a lot and stuff like that. So.
Right. Cool. So it's that kind of site. For those of you who know what anything he just said, go there, lorehound.com, LOREhound.com. For those of you who don't know anything about that and maybe are interested, also go there and check out what that world is all about. We're going to do an interview after the show, and then they'll tell us when it's going to be up, and we'll promote it and what have you. Definitely up before next week's live show, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll get the what?
Oh.
Okay. So
quality.
My fault. We'll take care of that. Now, before we wrap up the Comic-Con show here, there was so many interviews and so much other stuff that we got to do that we're just not going to have enough time to air every single thing that we did. It'll be up on the YouTube channel, and then I think next week we're going to play some other clips too and some other interviews.
Sweet.
And throw all that stuff up there so that everything gets out in the open and everyone gets a chance to hear it. Like we said with Back to the Future, the 30th anniversary, one of the big displays and presentations at New York Comic Con was from Pepsi. They set up the 80s cafe. They had Wild Gunman. They had the DeLorean there.
Sir, it's the Cafe 80s.
What did I say?
You said the 80s cafe.
Okay, Cafe 80s.
Thank you, sir.
My dyslexia kicking in. Cafe 80s was there. They had Marty's futuristic oil slick looking hat. They had Wild Gunman, and I had to hear everybody waiting online for that. You have to use your hands before they started playing the thing. I'm like, unplug this and just close the con. I'm done with these people.
Now, if they had gotten Elijah Wood to stand there, that would have been funny.
That would have been funny.
Yeah.
Everyone else? Not funny
Not
at all.
funny.
But they had guys dressed up as Doc and Marty, and apparently the guy who's dressed as Marty does this professionally as Marty. He owns a couple of DeLoreans. This was the Mr. Fusion version of the DeLorean. He owns a couple other cars that somebody told me about. I don't know if he owns a Ghostbusters hearse or something like that. I'm not quite sure. But he goes to car shows and does this stuff. So he made a living out of it. Good for him. And on the hood, it was signed by Christopher Lloyd right across there. And I think the door was signed by Michael J. Fox.
Cool.
So that whole thing was brought to you by Pepsi. That caused the big frenzy at Comic-Con for everybody trying to get the futuristic Pepsi Perfect. Like we said, is a limited edition of this. They're going to explain in just a moment here. People were on the floor trying to pay $200-300 for anybody that had it and was flaunting around or taking selfies with it or whatever. They're like, I'll give you whatever you want. I just need to get that bottle. I'm surprised fights didn't break out.
I think it was the first 200 people a day dressed as a character from the film.
It had to be dressed as Marty from any of the films.
Oh, it's just Marty?
Marty. Any version of Marty.
I thought Docs were getting it as well. Or is it just Marty?
No, they said just Marty.
And then everybody that went to the panel, which was about 500
that was the surprise.
people.
At the end, they said, thank you for coming to the panel as a thank you for being a fan for so many years and what have you. Everyone's getting a bottle of Pepsi Perfect as they leave, and, uproar and cheering and people going nuts. Again, I'm amazed there weren't fist fights and people kicking each other or worse trying to get these things. But we speak with Pepsi. They wanted to talk to us about everything that was going on, and they were nice enough to send some bottles over. So we're going to go speak with Pepsi right now. They're going to explain the promotion so that if you want to get your own bottle, all the information is going to be told to you right now. Ladies and gentlemen, on the phone right now, I'm speaking with Linda, one of the marketing director, I guess, for Pepsi, and all the excitement going around with Pepsi Perfect for Back to the Future. Linda, how are you?
Good. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's a kind of an exciting time, 30th anniversary for Back to the Future, and you guys finally put out Pepsi Perfect.
Yes, the future is now. We've been saying a lot of great Scott, we did it. So we're very excited.
Well, can I ask first, it's great that you guys finally did it for the 30th anniversary, but there's been plenty of other opportunities for 10, 15, 20, 25, whatever. How come now Pepsi finally decided, okay, we're going to give the public what they want?
Well, clearly it's a reference to the date in the movie, right? So Marty and Back to the Future 2 specifically, which is the part of the movie franchise that Pepsi Perfect has its moment in. And as you know, the date that Marty traveled to was 10/21/15. So that is exactly why it's happening now. And we have this golden opportunity to do something for the fans, to give them something that they've been asking for quite some time was just too good of an opportunity to pass up.
I find it impressive that a company like Pepsi would wait, of course, for the date to make it special, but knowing well in advance, since the franchise first started, that they could put this out and make a ton of money way back then, and waiting for now to do it. They could have made so much money off of this so much sooner. How come they didn't release it before?
Yeah, I think, great question. We wanted to do it in the right way, right? I mean, this is a big moment, lots of expectation, and it takes time to do something the right way. So that's really what it was about. Despite it feeling like a long time, you can imagine how much work and love and effort it takes to do something like this. And it took a big group of people, including our design team in New York City, obviously our wonderful PR team, and a whole bunch of agencies to bring this to life in the right way, which we feel that we've done.
Now, I can't imagine that the movie company was really going to push back on this.
Yeah, Universal has been a really fabulous partner. They are, I think, very well aware of the fan love for the role of Pepsi Perfect in the movie, and obviously just more broadly, right, for such a beloved franchise.
Right.
So they've been a partner.
So when does this come out officially? So people who were not, and we'll get into New York Comic Con in just a moment, but people who weren't at New York Comic Con didn't get a chance to try to get one of these bottles here of Pepsi Perfect. When is this going to be available for everybody else?
Yeah, this is going to go on sale October 21st online.
Now, is the online through the Pepsi website, or you have different affiliations with different outfits where they can go to their websites and purchase it?
Yeah, you're going to have to go to our social channels on Instagram and Twitter to find out more details in the next coming days. For now, we're promising it's going to go live October 21st, 2015, which is when the date that Marty traveled to.
Now, for anybody who's wondering, in the movie, Pepsi Perfect is Pepsi, but it's vitamin enriched. And I don't think that's what's going on here this time around. What is the difference with this Pepsi that stands out from the other Pepsi brands?
Yeah, as you might have seen from the Comic-Con activation, we have brought back the bottle in homage to the movie. So it looks like the bottle that was depicted in the movie. You're right, it is not vitamin enriched. It is actually real sugar Pepsi that's in the product. And it tastes delicious, by the way.
I'm sure it does. Did you guys, for a moment, try to consider, like, how could we make a vitamin-enriched Pepsi?
Not when it relates to this project.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about New York Comic Con and the amazing presence that you had. There was an 80s cafe built there. There was a DeLorean. They had Wild Gunman. And it also had the spinning Pepsi logo in the counter where the Pepsi would shoot up. And what I don't know what to call the plastic container other than, the things that the banks use, when you're on your drive-through line and you shoot your checks over to the teller.
Yeah, we were so happy with the Comic-Con activation. We had such an awesome spot right in the middle of all the action. We got the official numbers from Reed Pop. As I'm sure you've heard, there were about 160,000 attendees that couldn't miss us because we were right there front and center. And we had such support for Pepsi Perfect, with the Martys lining up very early in the morning for hours waiting for their products. So it was really wonderful.
Yeah, it was insane. You guys had a perfect location right before you go to the Jurassic World entrance for New York Comic Con. So people, before they even got to the main floor, were right there at the 80s Cafe, seeing the DeLorean, seeing the guys dressed up as Doc and Marty. Of course, the Pepsi Perfect stuff was everywhere, and this was the hot item. Walking around on the floor there, I heard people trying to make financial deals with people who were dressed up as Marty who got the bottles, saying, look, I'll give you $200 right now if you give me the bottle. And people are like, no way, you don't know what I went through just to try to get this.
Totally. We were had a high visibility spot. You couldn't miss the beautiful video screens, which were obviously an homage to the movie. And you're totally right. We were wearing Pepsi Perfect shirts that day, and we couldn't walk the floor on our breaks without getting stopped by, at least 20 people asking if they could get a bottle. It was pretty fun.
The Pepsi Perfect bottle comes out on October 21st. The price is $20.15. You got to follow Pepsi on their social media outlets, Instagram, Twitter. I'm sure Facebook will have it, right?
Mm-hmm, that's right.
So you can find out how to get your own bottle of Pepsi Perfect, just like from Back to the Future 2. It's the exact design with the logo, the blue twist-off cap. It's in the plastic tube where it comes up through the counter. Now, I'm also understanding that there's a decorative or special kind of collector's box around this when you purchase it.
Yeah, fans will be able to see it when they order it online, but yes, it comes in a special box.
Just one question outside of Pepsi Perfect here. Going back with the history of Pepsi and its placement in television and movies, I was watching watching the movie Ferris Bueller the other day, and the scene where Cameron's by the pool and Ferris is in the little hot tub there. He's sitting there with a can of Pepsi right next to him. Do you have future plans with Pepsi to celebrate other anniversaries for other movies where Pepsi was involved?
Yeah, you never know what the future is going to hold for, much more into the future as far as other activations, but we have a long history of product integrations and really fun ones. So you mentioned, the Ferris Bueller one. We always have a lot of fans talking about our moment in Home Alone, obviously, right?
Right.
As well, that was a great one. And you've probably seen in the press, there's been, some talk about us having an integration in the show Empire in the near future. So product integration is just one of the ways in which we try to authentically engage with our fans. There's more to come. I don't have any specific details right now.
Well, a suggestion for you, if you do go to celebrate the next anniversary for Ferris Bueller, maybe it's an impromptu parade in Chicago doing Twist and Shout and giving out Pepsi to celebrate the movie.
Noted.
Okay, there you go. Just let me recap where everybody can get your own bottle of Pepsi Perfect here. It comes out on October 21st, the date that Marty arrives in the future. The price is $20.15. Follow PepsiCo's social media outlets for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, etc. to find out on that day where you can go and purchase your own bottle of Pepsi Perfect. Now, it's a limited edition. How many are actually going to be available?
Like you said, it's a limited edition, and we're going to give more details to our fans on our social channels in the next couple of days. So be on the lookout.
Linda, thank you so much, and everybody at Pepsi. It was a great idea for New York Comic Con. Everybody was surprised. It's a great little keepsake. Of course, it's going to sit on everybody's mantle to say, I was there, I have this, and it's something special from Pepsi.
Great.
Linda, thank you so much. I'll talk to you again soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Eric.
No problem.
Take care.
It's Erik Nagel.
Whoops, you know what the music means. Our time is up.
Wow.
Down to the wire.
Down to the wire. Which means, according to the music, we have to go.
We have that on our show.
What?
The music, according to the music, we have to go.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for listening to the New York Comic Con edition of It's Erik Nagel. That has been me. E-Rock Radio on Twitter and Instagram. Follow the show, It's Erik Nagel, on Twitter and YouTube. And we'll be back next week, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. West Coast time, for you to follow the show here. Let's go around the room, get the plugs out of the way. Kev?
Absolutely. And Big Kev and OG, what are the plugs?
Geek Stuff OG on Twitter and Instagram. BKGeekStuff.com for the podcast. BK Geek Stuff on Twitter for Big Kev.
And Matt OG?
Yes. I said it. Geek Stuff OG on Twitter and Instagram.
I know, but you were filling in for him. Now I'm cutting the thing and then making it separate.
I just did it all together. I just did it all together.
And the gentleman from Lorehound, it's LOREHound.com. Check out that website. We're going to do an interview with them. It should be up in a reasonable amount of time. You can check out all that cool stuff. Thank you, everybody at Reed Pop and New York Comic Con, Fox, Nickelodeon, Starz, Cinemax, all the people that gave us unprecedented access, Adult Swim, for everything we did. What we didn't get to today, we're going to do some next week, and also go to youtube.com/ErikNagel. You can catch the interviews that we just did and some of the ones that we didn't get to. All will be up there for you to enjoy, okay?
Love that.
I think that's about it. Also, at the beginning of the show, go to my Twitter, E-Rock Radio, for all the information and what we said about looking for new programming and stuff. Maybe you got something that we're looking for. ERockComment@gmail.com. And what?
I know a show.
I know. It doesn't qualify. Damn. All right, so we got to get out of here. Sam Roberts is coming up next. Until next week, everybody, be seeing ya.
And that's all the time we have. Follow the guys on Twitter and Instagram at eRock Radio and at GeekStuffOG. eRock Radio and at GeekStuffOG. The show should be back next week, right here on OP Radio.